Wednesday is here. It's Collider Live, the last show of the week. And man, what a week it has been. Jam-packed with guests. And it is not over yet. I'm Kristian Harloff. Welcome to Collider Live, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever the hell's out there watching. Dogs, cats, squirrels.
No squirrels.
Well, maybe they can watch, and that way they stay out of my yard. I am joined by the lovely Josh Macuga.
Hey, buddy.
The beautiful and talented Mark Reilly. And Dorina.
Thank you.
Hi, Dorina. How you doing?
Hi, how's it going?
It's nice to have you back.
Really
Thanks
is.
for having me.
Fantastic.
You were just on Jedi Council, now you're back on live.
I was. I like these fans better.
You like these fans better than Jedi Council?
Jedi
Were they mean on
Council.
Jedi Council?
They were.
Really?
Really?
What do
Yeah.
they say now? What?
No, actually, half of them were really nice, and the
Yeah.
other half were like, how dare you think differently than me?
Yeah.
You should think
Star Wars.
exactly like me.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I always forget
Yeah.
that people, when they come on Jedi Council for the first or second time, they go into those comments like so happy. This is a Star Wars thing. And they go just like, ew.
Yeah.
I don't even go to that
Whoops.
shit pool.
I haven't looked at YouTube comments in
Yeah.
on Collider shows.
You can't.
in 2
Yeah.
years.
You can't. It's just too. It's too ugly. It's too ugly. And I was talking to. But there's a lot. I mean, the thing is too, like you said though, the one thing you said, there's a lot. There's a half of those people, and it's unfortunate because there are a lot of good people in
Yeah.
there too.
For
there's
sure.
There's a lot of good people in this room right now, and there's a lot of shitheads in this room. But
Yeah.
it happens.
Lots of shitheads here.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It just not in this room, but in.
Lots of shitheads.
In this room right here.
Yeah.
Right.
All of us.
Yeah. How was so Dorina last night? Dorina's a little mad at me.
Why would you do?
I messed up, Josh.
What happened?
So
Christian pulled a Christian.
I pulled a me. Is that something I
Yeah.
normally do?
Yeah.
What did I
He
do?
At least specifically for this
He grilled
situation.
stinky food inside your house?
No.
I don't let him inside my house. What are you talking
So
about?
we do live
Smart.
We
close
live
to each
really
other.
close, and he's never been to my house
Yeah,
for
smart.
that
That's
reason.
smart.
Never
Yeah.
invited.
Yeah.
So she invited me. Her and Nathan went and got tickets to the ArcLight to watch The Thing, to which I still have never seen.
You've never seen The Thing?
Right?
Not a minute. Not a minute. And
She's
I
seen the thing.
I know. I
don't
Josh is scared
understand.
of everything,
I'm scared
and
of
he's seen the
everything,
thing.
and
And,
I saw-
Christian hasn't seen
I know.
the
Do
thing.
you know why I saw The Thing?
Why?
Because I thought The Thing was like some old movie about
Fantastic Four?
Yeah, like
Oh.
this guy. And then like 30 minutes in, I was like, this isn't.
What guy?
Like this guy.
Who is that guy?
I
You
don't
mean
know,
the
like
Fantastic Four guy?
I know, like they're like a swamp thing or something. It's like an
Oh.
old movie where it's like cheesy.
Oh,
swamp
Addams
thing.
Family.
It's not one of the scariest movies ever made about why you don't go into cold places.
Do you think it's scary?
Yes. Are you kidding me? That movie is terrifying.
The Thing is so great.
Not a friend.
It's really
Not
good.
a
For
friend.
3 straight
Anyway.
days now, I've thought that people are following me in the dark just from watching It Follows.
Oh.
That
yeah,
movie
you get-
scared the
Listen,
living crap out
well, I'll
of me.
tell
It
you
Follows
what.
is not scary.
It is terrifying.
That's what I said. I said I don't think
It's
he's going to
not
be
scary
scared,
at
but he
all.
was scared.
I didn't think it was going to be that scared
Yeah.
either.
Did it just remind you of college or something?
No,
Oh.
it reminded me of walking along and thinking people are behind you,
Oh.
and then those people turn out to be crazy people that will stalk you. And then that vision of that guy, that big guy coming in at one point when they're like in the house, and they think it's this girl, and all of a sudden it's this giant man that's like Vitaly Klitschko.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Vladimir Klitschko is ever coming
They're
in
both,
later.
like,
they're
who's
both
that?
tall. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both tall. But Josh mentions our guests. We have 2 guests today. 2 cool guests. Yesterday, we
Wait,
had
I'm
a-
not done yelling at you.
You
about
can yell
the
at me a
thing.
second. We'll go back to it. But I do want to say,
not done.
yeah, because Josh steered us in that direction. I
Yeah.
just want to talk about it. We do have 2 great guests today. John Noble, the great John Noble, who is promoting his new film Silencio, and we are going to absolutely talk to him about Lord of the Rings. And Dennis is going to come in and talk to him about Fringe because he loves Fringe, and he would have yelled at me if he wasn't able to talk about Fringe. And then the
Dennis
former
doesn't yell; he just talks louder.
Dennis reminds me of my dad sometimes. When like the other day, and it's funny to be sometimes you hit Dennis with a joke and he'll laugh out loud, and other times you hit him with a joke and everyone else will laugh and he looks at you like you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because like yesterday he walks out and he walks over to the printer and he just reminds me of dad, like out of nowhere. You don't see him for the whole day, but he just comes out and he's fixing the electricity. He's just like he just fixes the thing, he whatever the printer, and then he goes back into his room. It's like, oh, there goes dad back into the den. Right? It's just like you don't see him and you make that call and Thad and everyone's laughing and say, that reminds me of my dad. And Dennis just looks at you, he's like, no. And you're like, oh shit, I feel like I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, he will be here to interview John Fringe. John
Fringe Noble Denethor.
About Fringe.
Nerd.
And then we will get a chance to talk to the former heavyweight champion of the world in boxing, and that is the one and only Wladimir Klitschko, who is going to be talking about his new book, Challenge Management. And he is going to, I'm telling you, like I said to you guys yesterday, wait till you see the size of this dude.
I mean, it's insane.
And when I told Roxy that yesterday, she's like, "Oh, we're not. You don't think we're gonna be able to? We're not gonna believe it." I'm like, "No, you're not. He's like a walking house.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He is the real life Drago. He is what I mean. He's from
He
Ukraine.
will break all of us.
He will break you.
but he's like a brilliant dude. He's like a doctor.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Does Ivan Drago dumb? We don't know.
We don't know. He never really said anything. This dude talks. Let's then go back to why you're mad at me. Because I got.
Like we got him tickets in advance. Like
You bought the
weeks
tickets?
ago. Weeks ago.
But wait.
No, weeks ago. And
did
then
you?
I was like, we're gonna finally get you to watch this movie
Right.
because it's one of the best, as Mark agrees,
Yes.
horror movies ever
Sure.
made.
Yes.
John Carpenter is amazing. You should watch. You should all watch every John Carpenter movie out there.
I'm okay.
He is awesome. You should
They Live.
definitely watch it with all
You
of
ever
us,
seen
Josh.
They Live?
John Carpenter did They
Yeah,
Live?
man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yeah,
Cobbster
no.
playing the music right now, or is that just me?
That's
yeah.
Brian
Yeah.
playing it, but
It's just in your head.
in my heart,
Yeah.
I am.
Anyways,
Yeah.
So I get distracted by Ennio Morricone playing music.
Yeah.
So we went last night, and we were like, maybe Kristian will show up because maybe finally he'll get to watch it.
Yeah. This is
And-
why you can't be mad at me, though.
No, but then we texted him. He's like, "Are you coming?" He didn't even reply till like after the movie was over. Like he just kept
was
sending
at dinner.
gifs. No, he just kept sending gifs of like him shrinking, like what was
Hiding.
that? That like yeah, all gifs where he's hiding and he's refusing. A crappy Adam Levine gif.
But
I
this
don't
is-
even like that
this
guy.
This is my point, though, with that. Did I ever, and be honest, don't you lie.
You said maybe.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
I have the text
when
messages.
you got me a text,
I
I
will
said,
look up the
I
text
said I'll
messages.
try.
Let's
I said
bring
I'll
up that
try.
text
I said
and-
I'll
Then
try.
say you weren't gonna go. Just
But
say.
I did, and then did I ever commit to going to the movie? And then I said the
But
other
you
day.
didn't say no.
The other day I said I'm probably not going to make it, and when we saw each other at Halloween,
And then I was like, you should.
and I said I probably won't make it.
Okay, but then you said I'll try.
That was the first time, not after Halloween. I said probably not going to make
Okay,
it.
the point
I had
is you should just be mad at yourself for
Because
not
I'm not seeing
watching
it.
that movie.
I wanna see it.
Because what if you die tomorrow and you didn't see the movie? And you
Well,
didn't see the thing?
well,
that would
that's
be
true.
so dumb.
That would be sad.
And
Do
you
you
own
really-
it on Blu-ray.
I do own it.
Do you
JT
really
got
want
it
to see
for
it?
I do.
Okay,
I almost
how
watched it
can
a few
we
times.
facilitate this?
Why
Because
don't we
you
just
have the
watch? Why don't we
Blu-ray.
do one of these Halloween things for Scener where Kristian watches the thing?
It's
No,
not
he
on
need-
Netflix right now.
And he needs to. You need to kind of enjoy yourself. No one talking over. You
That's
need to
gross.
absorb
Yeah,
everything.
you need
about
to see it in a
absorb. Get it?
Right, I see what you're saying.
Well done, Cobbster. That's a good thing.
Good pull.
Reference. Good reference.
Nice.
When I watched that movie, I was in college.
Yeah.
Right. Some movie came. It's Kurt Russell. They're
Yeah.
in like the Antarctic, right?
Don't
Yeah.
spoil anything because they'll see it eventually.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I haven't seen it
you know,
either.
I
You haven't seen it either. Thank you, Beardo.
I'd partaken in
Beardo,
some,
what
some college activities, you know what I mean? And everybody was
Turn the
sitting
music.
around a room, and we're watching the thing. And I was so scared, but I was also like a sophomore, and I didn't want to like show the fact that I'm a total wuss. So I like had a blanket in front of my face that I was like kind of looking through, but then going like this, like making sure that I didn't see anything that would really, really scare me.
Yeah.
Because that movie, I still to this day, when it's snowing,
It's just super creepy. Huh?
I don't. I'm like the thing is around here somewhere. I don't like
But it's
it.
good, right?
It's a very well done
great.
movie.
I will
but
say that.
also the plot holes in that movie scare the hell out of me because
Don't-
they're not
don't-
plot holes. They're not plot holes, but like the thoughts of where it just scares me.
Of where it could go. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Well, yeah.
That-
There it is.
I do. Beardo had chimed in. And there's two things I want to hear from Beardo because the first is I said Upgrade. It was a movie that I still really want to see.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
I
too.
love
Only
Upgrade.
I know the only person I heard that didn't like it because Dorina hasn't seen it yet. And she heard really great
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, Nathan was just texting me yesterday
How
that,
great
he,
it was,
that
right?
he loved it. Yeah.
So I have literally every single person I've talked about this movie says it's a throwback to the Verhoeven movies, and
Right.
it's just like old school, and it's a great action movie. Beardo hates it.
Why?
We'll let Beardo give his thoughts in a second here because the thing is, Beardo,
He was ready to go.
He's ready to go, and I'm gonna let him loose. But like
Pull
Beardo,
out your notes, Beardo.
yeah, because Beardo, it's funny though. People's like, does Beardo? You said does Beardo hate everything,
Yeah.
and he doesn't because we're going to talk about another movie. Beardo and I were actually on the same page, and I think a lot of the times Beardo and I are on the same page. I don't know, but I got a tag we weren't, and that other.
We're still not on the same page as his car doesn't have brakes that work, but apparently he thinks they do.
All right. Well, let's go to Beardo. Beardo's in the booth. Beardo in the booth.
What's up?
So Beardo, tell Dorina why you hate Upgrade so much.
It's not just me too. Chris Hartwell is not a big fan of it.
Who's that?
Chris Hartwell from he's been on here.
You know,
I know,
Chris.
I'm kidding.
Handsome Chris.
Yeah, I'm kidding. That's surprising to me because Chris likes a lot of stuff that people hate.
It just felt very generic to me. It wasn't anything new. It felt like a ripoff of older movies and
Of what older movies?
Blade Runner.
Oh, well.
Yeah, without the budget.
And that's
you
Dorina's
can-
favorite.
You
Yeah.
can tell the budget's not there. And yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. It was very predictable. I was like, oh, this is going to happen, and it happens. That's the bad guy. This is the good guy.
Too cliched for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it felt like a Black Mirror episode.
Beardo. But that's a good thing. Black Mirror episodes are good.
Yeah, but it's not something I want to see in theaters.
You think Black
Gotcha.
Mirror does it better on television?
Yeah, way better.
Hey, Beardo, what's better, The Nun or Upgrade?
Upgrade's better. The Nun
Okay.
was just garbage.
Yeah, it really was bad.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Riley, you're stewing over there.
I'm not stewing. I just completely disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why so?
I mean, because I think, predictable. Yeah. I think that's the lovingly nod to the Verhoeven, where, in Total Recall, RoboCop, all these kind of movies, just like, you know who the bad guy is. You know what's going to happen. You kind of know. The fun, for me at least, is watching it happen.
Right.
Is watching this guy figure out his powers, watching him figure out what's happening, and then the action is some of the best action I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, because Cobbster, you loved it, right?
Wait, sorry. The action scenes are great.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. The action, the fight scenes when the guy's
They're
acting,
incredible.
it's great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the dude, the lead guy, Logan Lerman. Is that who it is?
Logan
No,
Marshall.
no, no.
Logan Marshall Green. He's
he-
in this show called Quarry that was on Cinemax for one season. It's really, really good.
He's
It's
like
only
Dollar
6
Store
episodes.
Tom Hardy, right?
He totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
This movie though, for me, he goes whoosh right to here. I
Yeah.
love his reaction when he figures out, and it's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything. When he figures out, it's like take over, and
It's like Venom.
STEM.
Yeah, this
take
movie
over.
did Venom way better.
Yes,
Right,
Thank
okay.
you, Cobbster.
Way
Is
better.
that why
So
Cobbster?
is it more action thriller than sci-fi then, or?
It's sci-fi. Yeah, there's
Sci-fi action
It's like
thriller.
kind of all
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So it's because like Total Recall, I was actually just watching it
The
this
first?
weekend.
The original? Or the Colin
Arnold.
Farrell? Okay.
And
Yeah.
and
You know,
it's
I've never seen Total Recall.
Oh,
The
how
original.
dare
You suck.
It's
Wait,
good.
Wait, can I finish your point?
it's good, but it's kind of, it starts out as an awesome sci-fi movie and then it turns into an action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you guys know that Cronenberg was actually going to do it?
The original movie?
Yeah.
No,
I
I,
heard
did not
that,
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I just read about that, and apparently, whoever the producer or writer was,
One of Verhoeven,
wanted more of a Raiders of the Lost Ark feel, and Cronenberg was like, "No, I'm writing the Philip K. Dick story,
Right.
Because that's what it's based on." And
Yeah.
so it actually would have turned out to be more sci-fi than action.
Well, I mean, the remake certainly was more sci-fi.
Right.
And I
I
actually
didn't see the remake.
I'm one of the few people I think that did like it. It doesn't touch the original, but
It's Colin Farrell's.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've never seen either. I Total Recall is one of those Schwarzenegger movies that missed me because I think my parents didn't want because it came out when I was like 7, 6. What was it, like 1980?
They didn't want you to see.
1990.
They
I was
didn't,
90, so I was 8.
they didn't want you to see three boobs.
Three boobs.
Correct.
That's
what it
right.
was.
Right.
And so, I mean, they'd already let me watch Commando and, Terminator,
and they didn't want you to watch
Total Recall was, I think, because we grew up in a Catholic family. The violence was whatever, but the nudity was a wholly different thing.
I see.
The Catholic Church
Yeah.
is so split
There's
on the whole
nudity in
thing.
Commando?
No.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is in
There's
the
certain-
hotel.
Oh, that's
in the
right.
hotel.
When
They
he
bust
busts
through
through
the
the
hotel.
hotel. Ah!
Yeah.
You see a flash of boobs.
Do you-
And that's
I'm
the
a green-
sound they make.
I'm a
exactly.
green.
It
Yeah.
is.
I'm a Green Beret, motherfucker. I eat
Yeah.
Green Berets for
For
breakfast.
breakfast. And he throws him through one of those old glass like cube walls.
Yeah, the
you
whole
know what I
thing.
mean? Because
But
that
a macho bullshit.
yeah, that nudity scene and the nudity scene in Die Hard are like the exact same nudity scene. You
Yes.
bust in, somebody's
Yep.
having sex, you hear a ah, and then people start fighting.
Right. Yeah,
Just like that.
Cobbster, do you think one of the reasons that you didn't like Venom, besides a lot of the bad writing, was because, like you said, you just felt Upgrade did it a lot better?
Yeah, maybe. Now that I think about it, I didn't really think about Upgrade as I was watching it. It was just, it's kind of like, oh well, no, yeah, they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
I just liked Upgrade a lot because the first 20 minutes, you think it's going one way, and then there's a certain point where it just shifts gears, and you're like, oh, this is what it's about. I think the movie falls apart in the third act.
Oh.
But I think the rest, it's such a good time, and all the characters are great. The body horror is like, wow, I haven't seen this in a minute, so that's great. And I love body horror. We need more of that.
What is it? Body horror? Explain
Body
it.
horror,
What
like
is it?
Cronenberg, The Thing,
Oh, I
where
see
your
what you're
body
saying.
is like
yes,
horrifying.
yes.
Gross,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
awesome stuff.
Yes.
I see.
So I hear 'cause
Videodrome.
You're talking about two guys that like sort of look like each other: Logan Marshall Green, Tom Hardy, right?
Yes.
We were talking yesterday with Matt Serra about Wolverine. Tom Hardy's only like what 5'7".
Tom Hardy could play Wolverine.
Tom Hardy would be
He's not
awesome
5'7". How
Wolverine.
tall? Google it. I bet she's like 5'8".
Okay,
But
but
still-
he would be awesome.
You
at
can't.
that.
I mean, look, I love Matt
can't.
Serra, but you can't get you're not gonna get a Wolverine that's like 5. Like Pacino back in the day couldn't have
Hey,
played.
Michael
Wolverine.
Keaton was Batman and he was perfect.
He was like 5'8", 5'9".
No, he's short.
No,
No, he's not.
let's do a Tom Hardy is
Michael
5'9".
Keaton I've been
and
next to,
what's
he's
Keaton?
barely shorter than me. He's not that short.
Yeah, what's
Who?
Michael?
Michael
I
Keaton,
bet she's like
really?
5'9".
Yeah.
But he's 5'10".
Michael Keaton height.
Yeah, but they also lie about
5'9".
heights.
5'9".
Yeah,
So
that's what I just said.
Look,
He's a
look where he's
tiny
from.
guy.
Kennedy Township, Pennsylvania.
That's what I mean.
Pittsburgh.
Ooh,
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I like
And
Pittsburgh.
So I mean,
that's
now,
why you guys are the same height.
Correct.
Tom Cruise is like 5'8".
Ooh, I'm taller than him, and I'm short.
Tom Cruise is small.
Tom Cruise is
small.
shorter than Stewie.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
but
and that's the reason I brought up Scott Eastwood yesterday, because he's not. I'm like, I'm an
5'7".
inch.
He might be
Yeah,
taller
I'm
than
an
me.
inch and a half. Who? Tom Hardy.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise 5'7". What did we find out how tall Tom Hardy is?
5'9".
5'9". Oh, okay. So okay.
That's what I mean. But you can.
Yeah.
But remember, if you're going to put him up against when you Chris Hemsworth, and
Right.
he's going to look small.
Yeah.
You just
So-
get a box though, and then you
No,
make
no,
him
you want him
stand
small.
on it.
No, you want him small.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the whole point. Because Wolverine in the comics
right.
was
He's-
tiny. So
yeah.
Small but ferocious,
That
just
was
like next
yeah,
Stocky.
that was the point that Matt Serra was on yesterday. He was talking about he wants a smaller Wolverine,
right.
like back in the day. Because
Yeah.
to his credit, he's right. Like,
Yeah.
that's the Wolverine are small
He was supposed to be an
animals
animal, yeah.
that are fierce,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they probably should do. But you don't. I don't think you need to make him 5'5", 5'6", because you can still, if you're standing next to Hemsworth or whoever at 6 feet and 6'2", 6'3", you're going to look 5'4", 5'5". So
Or
there's
you
ways
can
to do
use
it.
Lord of the Rings camera work and just do the whole Hobbit.
It's a way to do
Gandalf
it
thing.
also if you wanted to. But the other thing that I was going to talk about, as far as Beardo mentions cliche, how the movie's kind of cliched and predictable. I'll tell you what, man. I'm shocked with the reviews of Bohemian Rhapsody.
So I'm at the desk yesterday, and Roca and Perry and Snyder are all talking about how all these reviews are coming in for Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's getting crushed. And I'm like, wait, Kristian said it was one of the best movies ever.
This year.
Not ever seen, but
I know.
this year.
Yeah, I loved it. Beardo, you loved it, right?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It is cliche. It is by the numbers, but I
agree.
thought it was so well done, and the performance is really good.
I agree with you. I think that's what we're talking about. I think that's
What are the negative reviews about?
I didn't have the Highlander song.
No. Yeah. But one of the
Not enough Flash Gordon.
I'll tell you what one of the criticisms, and Ellis had this criticism. What do you like the movie? But Ellis had the criticism, and I agreed with it. The movie itself, and like Beardo said, it follows a paint by numbers. It doesn't get as deep, and like, it's not a dark film, and this could have been with a lot of the stuff that was happening in the story material. And like, if you look at a lot of these biopics and what a lot of these guys went through, and you could really get deep, and you could leave like hit over the head like, wow, that was powerful. This movie isn't like that. It's more of like, these are the things that happen. The big criticisms also is that the band itself, you don't see the too much of the band interaction is there, but it's not in-depth stuff on them. There really isn't. But you
It's just
see,
a Freddie Mercury story, really.
more or less, and it's Rami Malek just crushing
That's
it.
what I heard, yeah.
He is so. I think that's the thing, is that he is so good, so engaging. There, go back up to what you guys just highlighted. So this is from Owen Gleiberman, who I've never really been a huge fan of, but it treats Freddie's personal life, his sexual and romantic identity, his loneliness, his reckless adventures in gay leather clubs with kid gloves, so that even if the film isn't telling major lies, you don't feel like you're fully touching the real story either. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that statement. I didn't necessarily need that though. That's the thing, is that, and I understand that if you really want to get an in-depth and really want to get like hit over the head, it's not that movie. It
kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, is right? It was like with First Man, I wanted Apollo 13.
Right.
I wanted my Ron Howard. I wanted my space race movie, and I got a biopic about Neil Armstrong and his struggles with life and marriage and Claire Foy's eyes, right?
Save that one though too. Yeah.
And I'm guessing what we're getting in Bohemian Rhapsody is about like the Queen, the rock band, the performance of Freddie Mercury, the greatest frontman maybe in rock
and you
history.
get that and then some. And this is so.
But here's the thing: you have to sell a movie. Or you think that families are going to go see a movie about reckless gay stuff in a leather club? Like, that's really tough.
I would love that.
Look,
They show that though.
They do show it. They do show it, and it's certainly there because that was part of his lifestyle. But this is, look, USA Today's Brian Truitt says this. Other than a solid job by Rami Malek, a magnetic frontman, Freddie Mercury, a few exciting musical sequences, and a couple of moments of actual greatness, the film is mostly a paint-by-numbers, behind-the-music journey through the ups and downs of the iconoclastic
That's
British...
what I want.
That's the point. That's the point. I agree with that statement.
Right.
100%.
Right.
I liked that about it. Now, it just depends on why you're going to see the movie. Like, if you're going to see, like, you really want to get the... Because I think that's also why Sacha Baron Cohen, I think, exited the project. I think he really wanted to do what these people wanted here.
Yeah.
I was okay. I just wanted to see... I love Queen's music. I wanted to see... It's the
I'm with
most
you, man.
covering of any rock band I've ever seen in a movie. They cover so many songs. There's a scene where Rami Malek is just doing the... oh,
Yeah.
and you hear the crowd and you feel it. It's like a great concert film.
Right.
It hit me.
And you
It
may
hit me.
say, I would like to see that. I would like to see that. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You still have to sell tickets. And if you sell a movie like that, it's going to get way. It's just going to get a way less of an audience. If you sell it as a Queen rock opera, which it sort of is, you're going to sell more tickets.
Well, the other
but
problem.
also, if you the thing about like I think I was talking about this earlier, like music biopics. Like if you look at a movie like The Doors, right? Like it was the same thing. Like half of the people were split. You know, because some people thought, okay, Val Kilmer's really good as Jim Morrison, but the movie devolved into like him just being this
was an
like,
acid trip.
drunken, like you know, whatever,
Lighting Meg Ryan on
douchebag.
fire.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
Raymond Zarek, because
Right.
Doors are my favorite band of all time. And
Oh, okay, so yeah, they're-
so Raymond
they're
Zarek,
great, yeah.
yes, and Raymond Zarek was like, this is not how Jim Morrison was all the time.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
he had an idea. He was just this one particular vision of him. I don't compare the two of them. I did absolutely make references to The Doors when I saw it.
Okay.
But I think it's very different. I think that
But that's my point was that you're basically those are two different types
Yes.
of band movies,
Yep.
right? And you have one that's focusing. It seems like the Queen one is focusing on the music and the band
Yeah.
and his story, whereas like The Doors is more so about Jim Morrison,
Yeah, and
right?
his
And
trip
so like
into, like, who the hell
but
was
but
this
at the end
poet?
of the day, I mean, you can sell, like Josh was saying, like you can sell a movie and get people to buy tickets,
Yeah.
but it's like half your audience is always going to be pissed off
Yeah.
because people really want a movie to be a certain way before they see it.
Yeah.
And then
Especially
they
like
get,
Die Hard Queen.
and
Well,
then,
let me-
and, exactly, and then
We-
they get expectations crushed, and then they don't like it.
I
That
agree.
doesn't
I agree.
make it a
'Cause
bad movie though.
You posted on your Instagram yesterday,
Yeah.
or maybe it was
When
the
I saw it
before.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, this is the best performance, doesn't da 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 da. And there was probably like 15 comments, people like, did he play the Highlander song? I'm like, guys,
right.
come
Right.
on. Like the Highlander song was part of it. I'm sure there wasn't a scene where they're like, you know what, we got the rights to the Highlander song, and we're going to do the whole. It's like 10 minutes of movie that you
Right.
can't put in a
No,
movie
there's a
about
lot-
Freddie Mercury.
there's a lot-
They did do Don't Stop Me Now though, right?
Yeah, and then
Okay,
Flash
that's my
Flash
favorite.
Gordon was
That's
not
the
in there,
best.
unfortunately. But we do have John Noble coming in here a second. So, but I do want to ask one question about Bohemian Rhapsody to you guys before we go, because I do believe this, and I think that it's it comes with the territory. I also think that critics, people going into this movie, are going to have their hands up because Bryan Singer directed the film,
Right.
and I think that it's just like, all right, Singer, what'd you do then? And if he doesn't deliver all the way through, the way that they're gonna hit him a little harder because of the accusations. I mean, they might not admit it, but I think that it does come with the territory, and I think that people are going to say, all right, if they don't love it, they're going to hit it a little extra hard because fuck you, Bryan Singer. And I think that some people have the right to feel that way. We don't know what the hell is going to come out, what other stories are going to come out, if any other stories. So the thing that I said, because I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, I don't know if I can see Bohemian Rhapsody. And I said, why? Because of Bryan Singer. I said, I understand the stance. I just don't happen to think that's fair because of everyone else involved.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like the Roseanne thing. It's like everyone was happy that was canceled.
Right.
But I'm like, what about all the people who
jobs.
lost their jobs? So you and not everything's black and white. You
Right,
know,
the
like
support of Rami Malek and his
yeah,
performance,
exactly.
the craft
The
services
crew.
people,
Yeah,
everyone,
exactly.
everyone that's
Yeah.
there worked so hard on this
Yeah.
movie. It's one thing if you legit just don't like it and it didn't deliver it. And again, if the Bryan Singer thing is really, you don't like the way he directed, you're going to be harder on him because of this stuff. That's on you, but because you're at least seeing the movie. I think not seeing it because of that is I don't think it's fair to the rest of the crew.
It's kind of like one of those personal things, and we talked about it before. Is like, did you listen to Michael Jackson's music and still dance to it, and think that he probably did something bad somewhere along the line, or did you say I don't? He was never convicted in a court, and so I can really enjoy Michael
Stick your head in the
Jackson's
sand,
music.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's your own personal thing. I just don't know, and you can't like force somebody to be like, I can't believe you would do that because Bryan Singer may have done this. We don't know. And
Well, and some people
Right.
do know, and people have every right to boycott whatever they
Sure.
want, but they don't have the right to force other people to do the same.
Correct.
Exactly, and that's the thing is that when I was talking, I said I respect that that's the stance you're taking. I don't necessarily agree with it because that's not what I would look at it, because I think that there's so many other people involved, and he was pretty much let go of they replaced him during it, so it wasn't like they're standing behind him and going up. This is like
it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. All such a catch-22 situation.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Look at Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts. Like this is something. There was a big boycott against him, and I understand. There's a lot of people.
Did you guys hear they're rebooting Pirates? I'm like, maybe they can
Yeah.
reboot Johnny Depp too.
I know.
They
probably are.
That's the thing. So this is a bigger conversation that I would like to actually have maybe towards the end of the show. We'll see if we can continue it, but we're gonna go to break. Because when we get back, we are excited. We're very excited. Talking about his new film, Silencio. The great John Noble will be live in studio. Stay tuned. Collider Live.
No, it's not late to the party. That's actually from Obi-Wan Kenobi. You didn't know that? Well, you should, and now you do. Jedi Council. What is it? It's about Star Wars, obviously. It's Jedi Council. Every week, the latest and greatest in Star Wars movie news. Myself and Ken Knapsack, that's right, the pit boss himself. We have a guest on, and we talk about everything happening in the world of Star Wars. If it's the movie news, the TV news, canon news, comic books, games. And then we take questions from you guys on Facebook and Twitter. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. I'm still excited talking about it. The fan base is coming together again. I believe it is. I think it is. I hope it is. And we're talking Star Wars, so we'd like you. That's right. All of you, if you're not a fan of Star Wars, come on over and join us every Thursday for Collider Jedi Council here on Collider Video. And we have an Apple Podcast feed or Podcast One, wherever you want to go if you listen to podcasts. And not only do you get Collider Jedi Council every week on Thursday, The Rule of Two with Marc Fernandez and Mark Reilly, that's on every week. I believe it drops on Wednesday. It's on one of these days. It's a good show. You should listen to it. I like it. I listen to it. I haven't listened to it once.
Hey everyone, Mark Ellis here. You know, when I'm not trying to clone dinosaurs or drinking at my neighborhood watering hole, I am probably hosting Collider Movie Talk. It's a flagship show here at Collider. I like to say that because I'm the host of it. It's every day, almost. It's 4 days a week, which is still pretty good, above 50%. You can watch it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 4 p.m. Los Angeles time is when we do it. It's live, so you can participate in the live chat room. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on every story we have coming because it's all the latest movie news of the day. Who did what at the box office? What horrible Redbox movies Bruce Willis signed on to? The DC, the Marvel, the Star Warses, the Lord of the Rings. Are they making new? I think it's a TV show, and we still might talk about it anyway because we love movies around here. It's myself and an expert panel of guests, including John Roca, Perry Nemiroff, Jeff Snyder, and other noted noters of note. You guys are going to love this show, and then we take your live Twitter questions at the end of the show at Collider Video. You can always use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk to get in touch with us, so subscribe right here to Collider Video. Check out Movie Talk, and check out the Collider Movie Talk podcast feed. We have a podcast feed now. You don't have to look at this handsomeness. You can just listen to it, whether you're driving to work, whether you're driving from work, or you don't have a job, but you have a basement and ears. You can listen to Collider Movie Talk's feed. You can get it at Apple Podcasts or on iTunes. You also get Mailbag. That's the show that's hosted by Perry Nemiroff, a lot more professionally than I run this pirate ship. That's our weekend show where she takes your letters. I don't know if you write them or you email them. You have to ask her. And Afterthoughts, hosted by Ryan Snelling and Jay Williams. I almost said Ryan Williams and Jay Snelling. Would anybody have known the difference? I certainly would. I would have felt bad about it because I'm a nice person, and that's why I host Collider Movie Talk. Check it out in video form or on our podcast feed.
Hi there. I see that you're enjoying Collider Live. After this show, why not check out Collider Games, where we play, well, games. We review games, we talk about things, anything that's going on in the gaming world, our opinions, news, all kinds of stuff. So check it out. If you like it, stick around and subscribe.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, one of the hosts for Collider Sports Time. That's our new show there on the Collider Sports Network. It's our flagship show, just like Collider Movie Talk. We get on, talk about a bunch of sports issues of the day and what is burning up social media, what topics are burning up social media. That's what we do on Collider Sports Time. I'm joined by my top 10 co-host, Matt Nost. Me and him, we welcome a bevy of guests every week to talk about NFL, the Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, and the NBA, which is starting up soon. We're going to talk about that. We also get into UFC stuff, college football, all the stuff that's happening in the world of sports. We're going to cover it on Collider Sports Time. And we're going to take the time to break it all down and give our opinions and our unique takes and unfiltered thoughts on what we think about the sports news of the day. So don't forget to join us every week on Monday for the Collider Sports Time show on the Collider Sports Network. And don't forget to subscribe on the Collider Sports Network on YouTube and on the Collider Sports podcast feed. We're going to bring you all kinds of stuff. Hope to hear from you soon.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Movie Manson. Just to let you know, if you already don't, every Friday here on Collider Video, I host a weekly film review series called Movie Review Talk. The title says it all. Every week I'm joined by two guest critics of my choice, and they're never the same. We review the new films. We pick something that's streaming that you might not know about, but is really great. And we pick a Blu-ray for something that you might have missed in theaters. It is fun. It is infectious. It is the Citizen Kane of movie review shows, and it's only right here on Collider with this guy, Scott Movie Mance, Mr. Movie Release Dates himself. Check it out every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, only on Collider Video.
And we're back on Collider Live, and boy, are we excited. And coming up October 26th, brand new film Silencio. In order to save her son's life, Anna must find a powerful stone. Her grandfather originally discovered it in the zone of silence, the Bermuda Triangle of Mexico. And throughout her desperate search, Anna stumbles upon family secrets and enemies who believe the stone's power is worth killing for. The movie is Silencio. It comes out Friday. And joining us, the stars of that film, the great John Noble. Hello, John. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
It's great to be here after all these years, you know. I was just saying how long Collider's been around.
I know.
I can remember when... Oh, back in the early 2000s, I can remember.
Yes.
We would always look at Collider because it was a good reference point.
Oh, yeah. It's good. See, I love that's what a great compliment that is. Steve Weintraub, Frosty started the site, and it's built and it's grown, and now we're starting to get some really great guests on this show. And man, are we excited to have you on? Thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Kristian. I'm really pleased to be here.
Thank you. You know, what's funny is I got yelled at last night. Well, we got yelled at today before last night for not going to see The Thing, the John Carpenter's movie. And it's funny because Dorina texted me and she goes, John Noble's here.
Yeah, I was telling him I was too shy to say hi and be like, I'm going to interview you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
It would be fun.
But you were there for Silencio, right? You were doing the red carpet.
Yeah. So Silencio. Let's talk about the movie. I want to hear, because when I've got a chance to, when I'm checking out this trailer and I see you in the role here too, there's like a time travel element. And the first thing to start off though was this based on true events in a certain. How does that tie in with the time travel and the true events? How does that work?
Yeah, but the Zone of Silence, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. It's one of those portals, right? And it is. And throughout history, a whole lot of asteroids and comets have landed there, as against somewhere else. In fact, in '69, a plane went down there, and it's also been recorded some of the major asteroids have landed in that place quite recently, as well as throughout history. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those places. That's the premise, and that's interesting enough. But there's this thought, and it's consistent with some scientific thought, that there's stuff coming in asteroids older than our solar system could have, for example, could have terrible diseases in it, or it could have things that will cure us. And I have a mate who's a top scientist. He delves in this all the time. He loves to go into this. What comes down within these is another virus, or what is it? So that fascination remains within us, but also what what powers do these things have that we don't know about yet, because we haven't been exposed to them. And so this film picks up that idea that if you touch a certain stone, then it will give you the ability just to freeze time or to move back temporarily. But there's some payoffs. So the complications come into play there. I mean, I can do that to come back if you're killed in a car accident or something, and if I come back, I could possibly bring you back, but I have to lose someone in the meantime. It's just one of those sort of, like the nature being in balance the whole time. So that's the premise. I say it with confidence because we don't know it can't happen. Right. We simply don't, you know. Having done so much of the scientific work as an actor, I've looked at this and studied so many things we don't know. Yep. And stuff that was a mystery 10 years ago is now, common science, parallel universes, talking a friend, you know. At that stage, everyone, what are you talking about? Now it's just accepted stuff.
Right. Well, when it comes to that, because you like you mentioned, science fiction, fantasy, it's really where you've done a lot in your career. Is that something you always wanted to explore, or did you just kind of fall into it?
Fell into it. I don't. I don't even really look at genres when something comes up. I look at a role, and I never consider they're a bad guy or a good guy or anything of this nature. I look at a role, And if it's complex and wonderful, then I'm fascinated. If it's not, I don't want to do it. If it happens to be sci-fi, that doesn't worry me because science fiction, 7 years ago, science fiction is today's science fact. You know, so it's changing so fast. So, you know, I don't understand, frankly, why there's this slide of, you know, in Hollywood, there's science fiction, never get nominated for Emmys, they never get a bloody thing, and you think, why the hell not? That's what people want to watch. But it's just snobbery.
It doesn't happen, though. It's true. You know, and you mentioned, I know that Dorina has a few questions about Silencio, but I did want to ask because of the science fiction element, the fantasy element, and because of Fringe and your relationship with J.J. Abrams, and I know it's been rumored for a while and conversation for episode 7 for Star Wars. That was something that I was convinced. We had a fantasy draft of people that we thought, and I had you in my draft because I thought you were going to be in there. Has there been talks as far as Star Wars? Is Star Wars something you'd like to be doing? Or
that franchise, yes.
Yes.
That franchise, I think, is fantastic. Just the whole, it's like those some of the early stuff was amazing stuff, and what it continues to teach us today about life. In fact, last night I was. Oh, there was another one I just thought of too. What's that? E.T. was another one.
Sure.
You know, these were stories that live about Lord of the Rings. I mean, things live on with they're great, and they got great stories. So, I'm in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I heard that I was in it.
So there was never really like any like serious talks about it. Just
well, someone might have spoken to this radio person, but I didn't.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so this jockey in Melbourne, in Australia, announced, John Noble, he's in there and he's playing the big bad. Oh, really? So I wrote to Bad Robot and said, "I'm sorry about this. I didn't say that, but."
It was like the hopes. Well, I hope to see. And there's so many new movies and the TV shows that's coming out with Jon Favreau. So hopefully that's something in the future too. But
who knows?
Dorina,
So I actually grew up in Mexico, and so I heard about this, Zona de Silencio area. And I was telling Reilly earlier today that it's actually on the same latitude as the Bermuda Triangle and the Egyptian pyramids. And as you were saying earlier, which is kind of awesome and spooky, and you were saying earlier that we still have so much to discover with science. It's crazy. So first of all, did you film at location there at all, or like where did you guys film, or have you been there? Are you like, I feel like my people are too creeped out to actually go there because we're so superstitious.
Durango National Park it's a pretty arid sort of a place, isn't it? And really wouldn't have supported a film crew, to get out there and do it. So we found a place. Wonderful place, not so far from where we were living, and in the desert. It's gorgeous. So we used that instead, but it's an amazing place, and it still holds these mysteries. And as you said, the locals go, "Ooh, I don't know about this place here." So,
did you read up on it a lot on that particular place?
Oh yeah.
Does it creep you out at all?
No.
So you don't believe in any of that stuff?
No, I didn't say that. No, I do believe in it. I just don't believe we understand it yet.
Yeah, right. It's exciting more than scary.
Oh my God, what we're discovering in quantum mechanics and so forth over the last, everything is possible.
Yeah.
I love it. I
love hearing you talk about this because I can see the excitement in your eyes when you just talk about because to me, and I know Dennis wants to talk about Fringe here too, because I have to watch the show, to be honest. But people tell me I am fascinated with the parallel universe. I'm fascinated with it because I agree with you. We know nothing. We know nothing, and I think that it's ignorant when people say, "Well, I can't see it, so I'll tell you right now, there is no parallel universe. There is no. How the hell do we know what the infinite? Yeah, right.
Why do we listen to them?
Right." Right. It's just, but Dennis, I mean, when I told you that John Noble was coming in here,
I fought you. I was like, hey, Kristian, you gotta let me on the show. I'm not a regular on the show. I was like, Kristian, you gotta let me come in.
So much French. Go for it, Dennis. The floor is yours.
I just wanted, he mentioned that, when he takes a role, he doesn't. John, you don't think about what genre it is. You just want to delve into the complicated characters and the storylines and. For me, Fringe was one of those shows that was very underrated because it was science fiction. I actually used to review the Fringe episodes with my friend Roth, and we would talk every year about how not only was Fringe underrated, but your work there was underrated, and we felt that you deserved an Emmy nomination for the many years that you did on that show, playing Walter Bishop. How do you feel about that kind of that talk?
Okay, I'll give you the honest answer. When I first arrived here and I was doing that show, Fox was running it. They were fairly convinced that I was going to win a swag of awards. In fact, they had me up before the first. What's the other one? The Christmas time one. Critics' Choice Award. No, I won that. No, the big one, the big awards.
The Golden Globes?
Right, thank you. God, help me. Yeah. So they said, be on standby tomorrow morning because they're going to announce the Golden Globes, all of it. Nothing. And then be on standby because you're going to get nothing. And so this first couple of years it was, and after that I just let it go.
Right.
I have let it go since.
You're over it?
I think it's criminal they didn't nominate you. I think some of the performances you had, especially with Anna Torv and Joshua Jackson, the scenes with Peter, and Walter together. I mean, those things, you have to watch this show.
Yeah,
Kristian.
I will.
I think you'll love it.
Well, when it comes to that, though, when it comes to these award stuff too, like you said, because I think from what I heard, and you can speak on this better than I can, but when it comes to recognition for your body of work, sometimes I'm sure that's a great feat, but then other times it's like, because you're not getting recognized, who needs it? I'm going to focus on my actual work itself, and if it happens, it happens. Is that kind of the mindset?
I think you have to be. The bonus of winning one of those awards is what you can get paid, to be honest, for a while. Beyond that, you see, I often think, well, who won last year's Emmys, and I can't remember.
Right.
So that sort of says something about it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's useful to have it on your
right. The
CV.
stature, the stature changes, and you become.
And it's exciting. Well,
right.
we won a SAG award once, and it was wonderful. It was just fantastic. And I got kissed by Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I didn't even know. I was that excited. She gave me a kiss and just walked straight past.
Right, you have to watch it on the replay.
Yes.
That's better than an award.
Well, I don't know because I was too starstruck.
Do you
I
have
stood next to Liv Tyler because she liked to stand next to me because we're both tall.
Oh, right.
So,
can I ask, do you have a favorite role that you've played or a favorite experience in your career?
Yes. Won't surprise you. The most difficult, but perhaps best known one was Denethor in Lord of the Rings. It was really hard. But I'm proud of the work, but God, it was hard emotionally. And doing Walter Bishop in Fringe was just a delight. If I could have written a perfect role for myself, I would have said, that'll do, that'll have that one. And they were so kind, they allowed me to improvise and come up with ideas. So we grew it as we went. That's probably, I mean, there's a lot of favourites. And many of my stage days too, which no one knows anything about, but there were some wonderful shows in there that I did, difficult, wonderful performances. But those two, which I think are the best two known.
Right. Yeah. Well, when you mentioned Denethor, though, and I'm curious to where, the obvious when you see everything that the character goes through and the stuff with his sons. What was it that was so hard with the prep that kind of got you there emotionally?
Well, to start with, Denethor was given almost no background in the film. He sort of appeared. And so there's this strange dude up there, and you think he's a bad egg. But that's not, I can't play bad eggs, I just play people. And so I have to go inside and I find out what the hell makes this man like he is. So I did. I researched deep and hard, and what I couldn't find in the books, I found in my imagination. That gives me the strength to go on and play with surety and understanding. If I didn't do that, I don't know what I could do with a man that is so, on the surface, appears to be so vile that he would kill his son. And I have children, and I going through that process personally, I'm thinking, what would you do? It was awful. Yeah. It was awful.
So the fact that you didn't visit that spot, I'm sure.
Oh, it was awful. But you have to go there.
Yeah. Well, especially when you that layer of that type of character, for sure. I mean, now, so Rachel Cushing, who's a big, she's a big part of this network here too, and she's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. She asked me, "Were you a fan of Tolkien before? Had you read all of the books, or if not, did you while you were on these movies?"
No, I hadn't.
Confession
time.
Yeah.
What I did when they first started to call out the auditions, I thought, hell, I better have a look at this.
Yeah.
So I did that normal thing of thumbing through the books looking for my name. And I found it.
Yeah.
And, but then I thought I better look at this a bit more seriously, so I did study it further, and then I did that audition and didn't hear anything. It was one of their worldwide numbers. It was a Denethor, and then they called back a few months later. Jackson wants to see you again, but he wants you to do Denethor again, but also Saruman. Learn Saruman.
Wow.
Oh.
I learned Saruman. And then I heard that Christopher Lee had got Saruman, which I thought was perfect casting, so I didn't have any gripe. And then Denethor, they had all these other people. And then I got up to God knows. So it was pretty exciting.
Right, but again, what was the relationship then with Peter Jackson though too? Have you guys kept on since the movies?
No,
or not really.
No. And I wouldn't even say we were close then.
No.
Jackson had so much on his plate,
okay,
and he was so well. The reason that those things live in legend,
yeah,
is that his preparation was astonishing. Every detail over those 3 films, and he was able to lift everybody. You know, you went onto that set, the bar is suddenly up here,
right,
and you go, okay,
yeah,
and everybody right throughout the company went through it, and that's one of the things you see in the movies, that degree of commitment and excellence.
Yeah, he seemed like, from everything you see in the behind the scenes, that he was obviously his passion for the project is, you don't have to explain that, but it's like you said, he seems like a real leader on set, and I think that's where it comes across.
It was his best work, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I liked Heavenly Creatures, but I thought that was his best work, and he was so passionate, and he knew it so well. And he's working with Andrew Lesney, his DP, who's died just recently. Can't believe this. And they were like this. Wonderful combination. That storybook, the whole film, by the way, just by the way, I mean, like, this page is amazing what he was able to encourage in us, and it was a pretty diverse and good cast of actors, and everyone just said, "Yeah, we'll go with anything you want made."
Well, one of the things that I think really came out of that movie as well, besides tons of stuff, but one of the things to me, Andy Serkis is one of my favorite actors on the planet, and what he did from that movie on with performance capture, I think, has kind of revolutionized performance capture.
He's the man. I mean, he was. What's the story? He was originally supposed to go in and just do the voice or something or other. Yeah. And he said, "Oh no, I want it. Let me animate it. Let me animate it." Yeah. They looked at him animating it and said, "Wow, wow." And so that was the beginning of the Andy Serkis legend. And he is also the nicest man, as you said, possible. Yes. And so he created these characters with his wonderful body, because he's a mime as well, and he's got this voice, and it lives, and it continues to live, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, he's done it with King Kong. He did it with Caesar, and he's continued to do it more. So the reason I bring that up is because you look at what Mark Rylance then did with BFG, and there are more and more actors now doing the performance capture. Is it something you'd ever would consider doing, want to do?
We did it once. There was a video game called L.A. Noire.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it was a great game.
Yes, and it was created by a mate of mine in Australia. And in fact, at one stage he said, "Can we test something on you, Johnny? You've got a bit of time." So I'd go and they'd wrap me up and stuff and put stuff on me to see if I could, what it was going to be like with 100 cameras or that. Yeah. And then I was away, and then he called me. He said, "John, I need you again." I said, "But I'm in Los Angeles." He said, "What are you doing at Christmas time?" I said, "Family." He said, "Come back." So I went back for Christmas. We did some more testing. Yeah. Then he called me and said, "Look, mate, we're actually going to shoot in LA. Would you do the role?" And I could. So I did. But that was all performance capture. Yeah. And one of the first. So exciting.
You enjoyed it? Yeah.
Oh, of course. I love adventures. I love adventures.
Would you do it again?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
In a beat.
And you've done other voice acting, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I
I'm
like
wearing a
voice
Batman
acting.
shirt. You did Scarecrow for an Arkham game. How's that compared to just, both voice acting and regular acting are very impressive. Is there one that you prefer? Like, what was that experience like?
I love voice acting, and I've worked really hard at it. It's funny in your career where you think, oh, there's something I'm not very good at. I remember getting rejected very early in the piece for a voice job, and so I thought, I've got to learn how to do this. Yeah. So I did, and I studied how to do it, and I studied how to use the booth and what to do, and it changed. But you can't just go in there and talk like a talking head. It doesn't work. Right. You've got to get into it. Yeah. So I love doing that. It's hard work, and I bounce around the place. Not off mic, but
right.
Because you've got to do this. If you don't use your body, your voice changes.
Right. Well, it's similar to what you're saying when you get into the role for Lord of the Rings. Not into that emotional prep, I'm sure. Or maybe it is. But the fact you've got to get into the character. You got to feel the character. And if you're just doing the voice, it doesn't do service to you. It doesn't do service to the character in general.
No, it doesn't. And if you do, so we're talking about Scarecrow. And that was a wonderful game, but I'm just Scarecrow, Batman, Gotham is mine, Batman.
I just played that game too, and I love that. I'm like, oh yeah,
geeking out. Yeah. So let me ask you then too, because we bring this up often with performers, actors, and the way that television has shifted from, say, network to streaming now, and there's just, and even if you look at something, I think Game of Thrones is the best thing to kind of compare it to. There's like these movies now. They're movies. They're long form movies, and that's why I brought up before, like the Mandalorian, the Star Wars show, which is going to be like a movie. Is television more exciting now? Is it the same? It just depends on the role. Is it something that you want to get? Is there any particular show that you would like to be on that you would want to do?
It's a huge question.
Yes.
Look, yes, it's changed. It's changed. It's changed enormously. I mean, television even 20 years ago, most actors of note wouldn't go there.
Right, yeah.
Not now. They just line it up at the doors.
Oh, it's all right.
Shh, nothing happened. we won't tell anyone listening that I just spilled a cup of coffee because anyone that knows me says he always does that.
Perfect.
Oh, golly. Yeah, well, see, I think what happened and what we've witnessed is with cable television, that for a number of reasons. One, it's compact. The writers are given freedom. The actors are given freedom. It's 13 or something, right? They can go and do other things. There's a freedom in there, and we see it. We see it in there. So the actors want to do it. And then streaming's come in now with everyone doing it. I don't think Facebook have got one coming up too. So this is legitimate now,
right.
Absolutely legitimate, and people binge watch.
Yeah.
Boom.
Do you?
No. my wife Petty does though, and I sneak by occasionally and have a look what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to watch if you can.
Do you have any particular shows? Are you more of a film guy or television guy? Is there particular shows that you watch?
As a regular, no.
No, okay.
And with films, it's old-fashioned. If it doesn't have a story or characters I can relate to, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
One more edit cut, one more loud noise, bang, bang, where are the characters? There's no characters, just shoot them down, and I'm going, oh, fuck, let me out of here.
Yeah.
Let me out of here. So that's me.
But
but when there's a story and the characters you can follow, I love it. And it doesn't matter whether it's way out science fiction or an historical drama.
You just want good characters and a good story that drives you.
And people don't change. We could be in space, we could be in Greece, but the people are people.
Right.
With different cultural effects, but the actor doesn't go and play, I'm going to play an old dude now, or whatever.
Yeah.
You just play the truth of the character.
Oh, Dorina,
is there a recent film that you've seen that, like, either this year that's been your, something that, I wish I was on that, or I really, that's a great film?
No. Usually, if it's that good, I don't want to be on it. I'm so admiring the people that are there, you know. And if that's not very good, I don't want to be on it. So, no, I don't look at that. I love watching good actors. I adore it. I love working with them too.
Yeah.
There's something special. There's something magic about that. So if I'm watching a great performance, I'm mesmerised.
So I'm curious about that because you're such a great actor, and you are there people out there, the younger actors right now, that have caught your eye that you say, that not necessarily even I need to work with that person, but you just admire their work, like some, it could be not necessarily a young actor, but someone in particular that sticks out in your mind?
Bradley Cooper does a good job.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I know Bradley a little bit, and he's just such a dedicated man. The thing that won me finally was in New York. He was doing the film The Elephant Man. The play The Elephant Man.
Right.
Yeah. So I've gone along to watch this. Not my favourite play. And there's this opening sequence where the guy goes from this and just converts himself on stage into this. I'm going, God damn, that's good.
Yeah.
It took my breath away.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, commitment to hell, and he did a wonderful job and held that position. It must have killed him. He's one.
Yeah.
There's many more, but I think he's a good example.
He's the one. Yeah, that's a good example. I think that what I've learned so far. I mean, I've only known you now for half an hour, but I like how excited you get about the things that you love. Like you can tell. Like I can also you're a passionate individual. And I can see that about you. And I think that's probably what it comes across. Where did if you don't mind me asking, did you grow up in? You were born and raised in Australia?
Yeah, I was a country boy. And,
Okay.
I got sent out with all that goes with that. I was sent down to 3 years of boarding school, then university in Adelaide, and I stayed there, and then I started to do theatre, and I actually ran a theatre company there for 10 years in that town. So,
did you discover? Is that something you just wanted when you were younger? That you just again fell into acting?
No. Didn't know you could.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't have a clue you could do it. I mean, we used to go as kids. We'd go to the matinees on Saturdays, and we'd throw things at each other and try and cuddle the girls, and we'd watch shows. And But I loved them, and there was all these kid shows. They were like, they're like another world, another race.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine how you could do that.
Yeah.
But then slowly you find yourself there and say, "Wow, that's what happened." But I didn't think it was accessible, and I certainly didn't think you could have a career doing it in Australia. You couldn't at that stage.
When did you? At what point in your life did you say, "Oh, wow, this is something I can actually. This is what I'm gonna do. Not even necessarily what I want to do. What I'm gonna do."
You know, it's a good question. What happened to me was I was doing an elective, drama elective, and I realised something. This is the first thing in my life that I found that I really love and that I'm really good at.
Right.
Hello, double banging. That's where I went because it still is. It still is.
Yeah.
I love it, and I'm still fascinated by the process of making, say, television. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what happens in post-production and so forth. It's astounding. And so I'm still a real amateur in terms of looking at that and going, oh my.
Right.
And I try not to let a day go by without learning something, because that sort of freshes me up too.
Is there stuff in television, because if with maybe directing and producing stuff of that nature that you want to do for television? Or
No. I was a director at stage. No, I realised coming into film and television, let's talk television, that directing television is so technical, and these men and women that do it are so good at what they do. I thought, I'm not going to do that. Well, I'm good with actors, but they don't talk to actors. They just come to the show on. Right. Film, if I had a script that I was passionate about and I had a great DP, well, number one,
right,
a great first AD and a great production designer, then I would say, all right, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
But that would be the condition, because they know much more about it than I do.
Sure.
Do you have any influences growing up, like as to why you decided to pursue this career, like whether it's actors or films or plays, that you were inspired by?
We grew up in a house, we were, as I say, country people, and my mum was a piano player, and I can remember that there was always people would come around and they'd sit down and they'd just sing songs. Mum would belt out the piano and Dad would sing along. So there was this atmosphere of that, and I'd forgotten about this. As children, little ones, my sisters, Mum used to train us up to go around to these country towns to do where kids would go and do entertainments and all that. And so we used to get set out to I used to have to do the sailor's hornpipe. So and I was about, 3 or 4 years old. We were doing this one, and my pants were a bit big. And so instead of doing this, you can't see what I'm doing, but it's just moving up in front. I was grabbing hold of my pants and pulling them up as I went in the song because they were falling down. There was some old rich man out there who said, that's the best thing I've ever seen, and gave us £10, which was unbelievable money.
Well, John, did you have something?
I have a question. Going back to TV, real quick. Your Denethor scene, when you're eating, and you're being warned that the army's coming to Gondor, is one of my favorite scenes of all time. But that's just a little praise. Are you at all interested in the Lord of the Rings TV show that's coming out?
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, because we're all wondering as fans, where does it take place? And I'm like hoping beyond hope that maybe it's before, and maybe we can get some characters that we love, like Denethor coming in. Like,
it's hard to say,
but Has anybody approached you at all?
No, and I think what they'll probably try and do is get a fresh look.
Yeah.
And how many actors would want to go back? See, it was interesting we finished Rings because people would say to me, "Oh, you must be looking forward to the Harvard." Well, no, I'm not. Well, I'm not in it. Right. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
But also, I said, we've achieved this thing here. Why would I want to blur that? I don't want to go there.
But what if?
I totally get it.
Leave it.
But what if then they came back to you? Because I understand that. But what if they came back to you? They had this before all the Lord of the Rings movies come down, but the role worked. The role was meaty. The story, like you said beforehand, you went, shit. This is something I'm excited about. Is that or you've left that chapter behind?
Well, if it is what you described, which is a totally different, complex character in a different set of circumstances, without the history that Denethor has, because his history is so important, then I would consider it. But if it's anything that's going to blur that memory, you go through life and you do certain things that are outstanding, not me, they are, that was like an unbelievable event in anyone's life, doing Lord of the Rings down in Wellington.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't want to do that again.
Understood. Well, Mr. Noble, thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, Silencio comes out this weekend, guys. Make sure you check it out. It's in theaters. Silencio, John Noble, the great John Noble, thank you so much for joining us. Please come back and see us again.
I'd love to. Thank you. Well, I saw Silencio for the first time last night.
And what?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Seriously.
Yeah. And I am excited to hear it. I'm excited to see it. And I am really, really honored that you came and joined us today. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. It's great. Thanks.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
So when we get back, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Wladimir Klitschko, will be in studio in just a little bit. We'll be back. Collider Live.
Hello, Collider fans. I'm Kristian Harloff, and you see my stupid name in the background because that's my other show. It's One-on-One with me, Kristian Harloff. What the hell is it? I just sit down and talk to people. I literally just sit down and talk to people about what the hell's going on in their lives and their careers, and it's a long-form interview show. Originally, it aired on Collider Video as far as the YouTube channel goes, but we moved it on over, and it's on the Collider Video podcast, Collider Podcast, on YouTube. Go on over there if you want to see the video and to see the pretty faces that I'm talking to. Had some great guests over the past. And we're going to have a lot more. And there's going to be people that you, maybe some celebrities or actors and actresses, producers, writers, all that stuff. But there's also a lot of the people that you know around here. I could have Cobbster on there. I could have Jeff Snyder, John Roca, Mark Reilly, Roxy Stryer, whoever. And I'm going to find out more about them. Long form, and also go to Apple Podcasts and check out the One-on-One feed with Kristian Harloff. And not only is my show on there, Mark Reilly, the Reilly Roundtable, which is another sit-down, long-form interview show, that's also there. And when Steve Frosty Weintraub talks to Kevin Smith or George Takei, that's going to be on that podcast feed also. So if you're taking a long drive and you like those long-form interviews, pop on the One-on-One with Kristian Harloff, give it a rate, comment, do all that because it helps the show and it makes Podcast One go, hey, you know what? Those people should get ad money.
Oh, hi guys. It's Perry here, and I am going to tell you about The Witching Hour. It is the show that I host along with Collider.com's Haley Fouch. It is in podcast form on the Collider Factory feed, and we also have the video up and running every Tuesday for you right there on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. We talk about everything horror. We're talking TV, movies, the newest releases. We talk about movies that are celebrating anniversaries. We've even talked about books. It's crazy. If it is scary, we are talking about it on The Witching Hour. We also have so many filmmaker interviews, really cool stuff. It's all coming your way every single Tuesday on The Witching Hour. Check it out. Collider Factory and the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. Ugh.
Hey, Collider fans, John Roca here. Look that behind me. There it is, Collider Sports. That's right, that is happening right now. We started it a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We've had some great programming on there already. For those of you that have already watched, thanks so much. We got so much coming down the pike. We're talking about NFL. We're going to talk about NBA. There's plans about NHL. Golf is in the equation now. And, of course, the Premier League show that I host with Jack Hind, that's been in motion for the last couple of weeks. And then an MMA show is on the way from Dennis Tzeng, me and Jay Williams as well. For you might know him from the After Schmo show. What is that thing called? Afterthoughts, that's it, the Afterthought Show. All those things are happening here at Collider. And look, we want to hear from you, so we want you to listen, we want you to watch. If you're a sports fan, even if you're not a sports fan, we might entertain you, teach you something new about a sport that you may not have known much about, or maybe so deep into it that you wanted to learn even more about it. We've got you covered. You can do that. Follow us on iTunes and on YouTube. You can there watch all the shows or listen to all the shows that you want, and then leave us comments and rate the shows as well and review them, and then let us know what other sports you want us to cover. Look, we're not touching rugby. I'll just tell you that right now. That's as far out as we'll go, or cricket. But maybe in the future, if we go Collider worldwide, that's certainly a possibility. But for right now, Collider Sports is there for you. Take a look at it, take a watch, and let us know what you think.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. That's right, they gave Reilly his own podcast. The Reilly Roundtable is on its new home, and that is One-on-One with Kristian Harloff on the iTunes feed for Podcast One. It drops every Thursday. The Reilly Roundtable is a little bit about everything. It's about movies and life and movies and everything in between. I like to have on special guests for discussions like Justice League versus Batman v Superman, for discussions about wine tasting, for discussions about UFOs, and everything in between. That's right. right. The Reilly Roundtable drops on Thursdays on the One-on-One with Kristian Harloff podcast feed and later on Collider Video's own podcast video network. So check it out every Thursday, the Reilly Roundtable. See you there.
All right. Collider Live is back, dancing up a storm over here. How cool is that?
That
Holy
was
shit.
so awesome.
Right?
I was totally
What
nerding out.
happened?
Yeah, he
Especially when he did the scarecrow voice. I was like, oh my God.
He was awesome, man. John Noble, Macuga, I loved your questions. That they were great.
Thanks, man.
No
Appreciate
problem.
that. Yeah,
It was look. He was cool. He was chill. I didn't know. You never know what to expect from somebody when they come in. You know, it's like, and he's just kind of like such a distinguished dude. You just want to like.
Oh yeah.
He was chill. He was chill, and he was honest, open. It was, how fucking cool was it that he knew Collider? And
This is the first thing he said. He's like, I've been following Collider, and he told me Lord of the Rings, when the reviews were coming out, he was going to Collider. And I was
awesome.
like, are you kidding me?
It's great.
Really cool.
Oh, look, you gotta give props to
good
Frosty, man.
reviews,
Well,
or-
Frosty's been kicking ass in this side for a long time, and then it built out, and here we are today, and giving home to us idiots.
Yeah.
And we're we talk about squirrel farts, and we get to talk to John Noble. So that was cool.
Squirrel
It runs
farts
the
and
gamut,
John
Christian.
Noble.
Runs the gamut.
Runs the gamut. But
Hashtag that's the show.
yeah, well, hashtag that's your show. I mean, we got a hell of a show left still, man. We got some stuff that we're gonna talk about in regards to news and things that are happening in the world of movies. But how exciting! I mean, we had a former UFC welterweight champion on yesterday, Matt Serra, and how he was great.
Awesome.
And then we're
Christian.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Marvel's good. They're good. This Marvel's good. DC tries to, okay. But Marvel, come on. We don't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's
It's
the
gonna be
best.
great. He's the best.
I dare you to do that to his face.
I know.
Yeah, he'd choke you out in 2 seconds.
You have to look up at me. I'm coming at you, Matt Sarah. I'm kidding. I'm scared.
I
to
would
death
love
of
to
you. I'm
see
just-
him choke out.
Oh,
Macuga.
man.
That'd be
He'll
great.
do it. Yeah,
That-
would
see,
you let
that's-
him choke you out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd choke you out in 2 seconds.
Yeah. I think that's that is some awesome Collider Live stuff that if we get a guest to come in here and then later we shoot a Matt Sarah chokes out Macuga.
I'm going to see him in New York, man. I'll talk to you about
Okay.
it. Because he, like I told you, Norton's one of my favorite comedians too. So be able to shoot the shit with Sarah and Norton, hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
Right.
Okay, let's move on because Marc Fernandez is going to come in a little bit because he wants to sit and talk with Wladimir Klitschko, and Vladimir's going to be in here talking about his new book, Challenge Management.
I almost parked on Marc Fernandez's spot, by the way.
Don't do that.
Just
He'll
to be
tell you.
annoying.
He'll tell you. You want to get towed? What's going on, Riley, in news? There's some shit going on. What's going
there's
on?
shit going on. Dorina mentioned it. The reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean. I want to get your take on the fact that the Deadpool writers are going to write this.
Do I like the fact that they have the Deadpool
Wernick and
writers?
Reese.
Yeah, I just don't know what it's. I always kind of twitch my eye a little bit when I go, that's really soon. I mean,
Very
the
soon.
last one was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's like 20 of them,
Yeah.
right?
There's 5, right?
Five.
Five or something.
Five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 is 20.
Dead Man.
Frank, how many Pirates movies are there?
He
5.
Okay, good.
5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still 5.
Yeah, there's 5. I don't know, man. You think that it's reactionary?
I mean, it's just money.
Yeah.
And they're just rebooting. Disney's rebooting everything.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, with all the live actions, you know.
Would it
I
be?
just-
Do you think it'd be a streaming series if they do it?
Oh, I mean, everything is streaming now, right? Are
Right.
we
I
all
think
just
it'll
gonna
go
have
theaters.
are we all gonna have Disney streaming and
I'm
HBO
getting
streaming?
it.
Are we all
Netflix.
just spending hundreds of dollars every month? That's kind of crazy, right?
There's no point in cutting your cable. Just
You're right. Going back to what you were saying yesterday, by the way, just to readdress this, I think you were right. I think that I think for Daredevil, Punisher, all of the Marvel, Luke Cage, and even Iron Fist, they're all gonna go to Hulu.
Yeah.
I think they're all
Hulu?
Yeah,
Or
because
the stream?
No, Hulu. They're all gonna go to Hulu because of the deal. Because that's kind of where the adult
Audience can go.
adults can go there, and I think I do not be surprised if in about a year that's where they all live.
I mean, and you with the Disney one as parents too, you can probably put parental controls on what the kids can and can't watch as far as Hulu, Disney streaming, but you could probably get a bundle. I'm guessing they're going to bundle all of that stuff together. I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
I just don't think they're going to mess with that with the brand.
Yeah.
With Disney, I think that even their rated R movies will be close to what they used to do with the DreamWorks or not DreamWorks, but with Miramax and back in the day.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, I think, they're going to figure ways around it, and they're, it's just going to be distributed through whatever production company it is, and even because Fox, that whenever that deal goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but so Pirates though.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like if it's going to be the same thing and they're just rebooting another family film? I mean, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, at least do a different take on it. Do
Just
rated
do a
R.
series,
I want
man.
rated R Disney.
And they
I gotta do that
just
shit.
they just set up the return of Orlando Bloom's character and the like Casey Jones.
Dude, that was such a shitty reveal at the end.
It
when
was,
they did it.
but-
It was so lame.
Yeah, I mean,
Got a
I
cheap pop, as the wrestling fans say. That's
Can
about
we do
it.
like Pirates of the Indian Ocean or something? Like, can we go to a new body of water? Is there a thought on that?
Pirates of the
I'm just saying,
Mediterranean?
No,
Sean
I'm
Maroney!
saying- Hey, guy, all right, you know what?
I just how many times can you see Johnny Depp do that stuff?
Yeah, I know.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's it's old.
Yeah.
He does it in every movie now.
The shtick is old. I mean, but will the fans though, like my mother who loves Jack Sparrow,
Right.
is she gonna care and go see this new movie?
That's the question of if they do Pirates of the Caribbean, right? If they do
Right.
it, like, let's say they make it a television series, do they even bring in Jack Sparrow? Because
I mean,
Are they
of
avoiding
course
Jack
they are.
Sparrow? Why?
Everybody brings everybody because there's always
But the difference
anything
is this.
related. They'll
It-
bring it.
this-
That's it's money. Remember, it's all money.
agreed, but this was a movie, and the movie was built off of a ride at Disneyland.
Right.
So Jack Sparrow was a character created for those particular movies.
Right. And now the ride has changed and Jack Sparrow's in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's all over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
Then
totally
that-
updated
that's
it.
the
So
centerpiece of that ride now.
Is he?
yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
like in it 3 times.
Oh.
And
Three
it's
different
Johnny
times,
Depp.
and kids. That's how kids nowadays are like. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean is the Johnny
That's
Depp
right.
ride.
You're right. I think maybe just how I knew it old school, but it's like, but there is. So yeah, you're probably right. They probably would just use him again, but that's tough though. Recasting Jack Sparrow. I don't know if
Yeah,
I mean,
so if you look at reboot,
Yeah.
right? And so when you hear about reboots of popular films, and they go,
I hate
"Who's-
reboots.
I hate reboots. You hear about who's the new fill in the blank, right?
Right.
So are they going to bring Jack Sparrow back? New actor.
No, they're gonna bring Johnny Depp as like just a cameo or something.
Okay, that's
Of
what I'm
course they're
thinking.
gonna do that.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking that it's like, okay, they're calling it a reboot,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
like more of
I
like
don't
a
know.
sequel in
Speaking of
another
reboots,
area.
by the way, which
Yeah.
I'm always against. Has anybody seen the new Suspiria?
You loved it, right?
I was shocked.
I wasn't
I wasn't shocked
heard
because I love
mixed
the
things.
director, but I loved it. I think you're going to love it or hate it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I heard love or hate. I heard there's no in between. I heard you either really enjoy like not enjoy, but really appreciate the freshness that they brought to the
Right.
remake, but also the ballsiness of it.
Yeah.
Or you're just completely disturbed by it and you just
Yeah.
can't dig it.
Yeah, you should go see it, Josh.
No, I'm good.
No way. You like
It's good.
but you like creepy shit
I like
too.
that.
Yeah.
I like the song "Disturbia" by Rihanna, but I'm not a big Suspiria fan.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge
Sean
fan.
Maroney!
Sean Maroney.
That's 2 Sean Maroney's.
Yeah.
One.
Have you guys seen the original?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so the original is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's beautiful.
Did you like it,
the
Riley?
elevator pitch on
I haven't
Suspiria.
seen the
Elevator
new one.
pitch
The
on
original.
Suspiria.
The
No, what is
original
it?
I like.
No.
What is the movie about?
Oh, what is Suspiria about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's witch ballerinas.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, but it's good.
Nah, I'm okay.
Suspiria,
good.
would you call it scary?
Yeah.
No,
It's more
it's not
moody.
scary. It's an art. It's art.
It's art. Yeah.
Is
it's
it like
it's
that
visually stunning.
What
It's the music is great
What
by
are your
Goblin.
thoughts on Dakota Johnson
So
in general?
I think I'm not an actress. I don't know. Like I think
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah.
I think she's the weakest part of the movie.
Okay.
She wasn't bad though. I thought acting next to Tilda Swinton. I
It's
mean,
like
Swinton.
She's
Suspiria,
incredible.
like that movie that Beardo likes by Aronofsky that he and
Mother.
and
Suspiria is
Mother.
by Dario Argento,
Yeah,
the Italian
Mother.
filmmaker.
No, he means a new one.
Oh, the new one. No,
Yeah.
this is by Luca Guadagnino,
Oh, yeah, who-
the guy who did Call Me by Your Name.
Right.
Yeah, so he's
didn't see.
amazing.
Right.
Okay.
He did A Bigger Splash too, I think.
Which one?
A Bigger Splash, I think. With
Oh,
the one,
okay.
also with Tilda Swinton.
Well,
So,
so I guess the question is that did you see Mother?
yeah.
Okay, so Mother was. If you look at filmmaking, I can't argue that it's really great filmmaking.
Yeah, the story's boring.
It's not. It was just pretentious. It was a
Yeah.
very pretentious film.
But
Was
also, you knew what was happening and you knew what the inspiration was from.
Right.
Like you knew what was going to happen.
right.
So
But what about this this movie? Is it? Would you see where someone would call it pretentious? I haven't seen the movie.
I mean, I'm a movie snob, so I could see them
Yeah,
calling it that. But
yeah.
you have to at least. It's not like Mother. You don't know where it's going.
Okay.
You know, and so and it's so different from the original, but it's equally disturbing and it's equally beautifully stunning. And you kind of don't know what you're going to get. And there's
so
one
is it like
scene in
Black
particular.
Swan meets Hocus Pocus? No.
No, I wish that sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah, it does sound kind of awesome.
No, but there's one particular scene that I guess some people left the theater because it was so messed up. And so you guys are either going to really enjoy
Does it
that.
have to do with kids?
No.
Okay. That's kids or dogs?
Is it Black Swan meets Practical Magic?
No,
See,
but that also sounds awesome.
If it's not kids and it's not dogs, I can handle it.
Yeah.
It's kids and dogs that I can't.
No,
I
but
can't
there's
do.
one scene where you're going to be like, wow, this is really fucked up.
Yeah,
Maybe
I've heard
so.
of that
I've seen. What was that movie? Irreversible. You ever see Irreversible?
No.
Oof. With Monica Bellucci.
Ooh, I did. Yes, I did see that. I've
That's-
seen all Monica Bellucci's movies.
So you've
'cause
seen
she's awesome.
So you've seen Irreversible.
Yeah.
Is it more disturbing than that movie?
No.
Okay.
It's nothing like that. In
Okay.
fact, it's some people are going to probably get upset that the movie is super feminist.
Oh, okay.
So
That's kind of what it is. Okay.
Suspiria is super feminist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the movie when does it come out? Is it this weekend? Limited?
I think limited release.
Soon. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm curious. I'm curious. I don't think I'm going to be getting a screener of that movie, so I'll probably have to go see it in the theater. Suspiria, and then we have the Pirates remake. What else is new in the world of news?
This is cool. Dallas Buyers Club director Jean-Marc Vallée is going to do a Yoko Ono and John Lennon biopic.
That's cool.
Who are they?
Yeah, Ken Knapsack Ken Knapsack and Mance just screamed at the top ones. I don't even know why.
Houston Buyers Club.
The spinoff you're talking about.
I wonder how. So I wonder how they're going to cover that. Sean Moroni! I wonder how they're going to cover that though. Are they going to same type of question that we just had with with Queen?
It's
this is one. This is a difference.
But this is just a love story, though.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
calling
think it's
it the
based on the
epic
music.
love story of Yoko and John.
Yeah.
I want to see.
No, thanks.
I want see. To me, this.
What
this
if it's a
one-
horror movie, John?
Yeah. That is a horror.
It is a horror
movie.
movie.
It broke up the greatest band of all time.
That to me, see, that's the difference. The difference between like the Queen movies, where I said I don't mind it. This one, I want to see more.
Okay.
Like this is a movie that I would be one of those critics. Is I want to see everything that happened. I want to see how. I want to see the tension between the Beatles.
Yes.
I want to see. So
Yes.
that I would be on the other side of the reviews that I was just complaining about if I don't get that in this movie,
Yeah.
because that's to me the interesting thing.
Agreed.
The interesting
Yeah,
thing
'cause
for
we all
Queen
know
is
the
watching them
music,
perform. Like and it's unless you're going to really have the Beatles kind of out there performing and doing the same thing. I want to see why, because she's a very polarizing figure.
Yeah.
They're going. It's like
Yeah, I mean, we all grew up thinking, oh, she broke up the
broke them
Beatles.
up.
But you know, as you get older and mature, you realize that the Beatles broke up themselves.
They did,
You know,
but-
it's not. But it's still, she's still part of the Beatles. History, right? Like she's a huge part
I
of
don't
it.
think Yoko helped.
Well, that's what. But anytime, still to this day, she's used as like if two friends are close, and someone gets in the way, you call them Yoko, whether it's a guy or a girl. So, okay, Yoko.
There was a girl my buddy dated when she was a waitress at Barney's, my favorite bar, and I called her Yoko because they broke up. And he's like, I don't want to go back to Barney's, and I was like, she Yoko'd the bar.
Yeah, right, exactly. What is this? Is this just her singing? All right, let's see it.
Oh, I thought that was Macuga screaming at first.
I thought that was Suspiria music.
Is she doing
Yikes.
VR? Is she doing VR?
This is like a performance art in a
she's
museum or something.
She's
This
possessed.
is one of those like performance pieces at the MoMA.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the guy in the
Art.
white shirt
It's
cracking
art.
up.
He's filming her like,
The one,
can you believe this shit?
The one guy goes,
He's on his Instagram story.
Who's doing the cosplay of Yoko Ono?
Oh man.
What in the world? How long does this go on for?
This is called Rage.
Sean Maroney,
All
everybody.
right, well, good. So she's very talented.
Yoko Ono screaming art show.
Screaming at art
there's
show.
a
She's
perfect.
screaming at the art show.
Yeah.
All right. So we get first comment is lyrics. That's really funny. How many followed by a composite? How many likes did that comment
Can you
get? 'Cause
please
it should have
upvote that?
Thousands of upvotes. Not that one. No. The actual comment itself.
It's a description.
That's
not
the
comment.
description.
Sometimes YouTube does do some good stuff.
Thank you, YouTube.
Could you imagine how she orgasms though? Is that what she sounds like?
Can you imagine? How many downvotes does it have? 25,000?
23,000.
That is
Oh,
great.
yeah, and only 12 votes.
It's got 3 million views.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
People are into it.
we're struggling to get Macuga's VR thing to 4,000.
Damn it!
You gotta make
Yoko.
those noises.
I need to get Yoko in on some VR.
All right, it's like a hyena sitting on a washing machine. That's what it said. All right, let's do some more stories. That was funny.
Oh my God.
I feel like that's not the last time we're ever going to hear that
Nope.
clip. By the way,
Who plays?
I'm changing my ringtone to that.
yeah. Well, if I know Beardo, he's probably geared up 75 different versions of that thing. All right, so what's next? Who does that? How is that art? How is that art? Just because you wear a hat and sunglasses? It's like, come on. How is that art? I can't put up with it. It's just because she's Yoko Ono. Like anybody else does that and walks in, get out of the fucking mic, Jim. It's like what are you doing?
When I was 9 years old, like 9 or 10, my dad tells the story. I came to the dinner table. It's total Sean Roney. I go, hey, Dad, you know if Yoko Ono married Chaz Bono, her name would be Yoko Bono? And he goes, don't come to the dinner table.
And then
Sean Moroni!
All right, let's do some more stories. What do you got, Reilly? Yeah,
Okay.
get in there. Get in there.
So Guillermo del Toro is finally getting to his
Yes.
Pinocchio movie, and it's
Cool.
going to be a stop motion for Netflix.
Oh,
So again, Netflix is getting everybody over to do this.
Do you know what animation studio is doing it?
Yeah, let me look into that.
So he did, obviously, Guillermo del Toro did Troll Hunters.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Just someone commented it sounds like a deaf opera.
That's brutal.
God, my God, people are rough, but that's not a good clip. All right, sorry. Let's talk about it.
So,
Troll Hunters.
Troll Hunter. So he's got this first look at Netflix, and they basically have like almost first right of refusal as far as when he takes certain projects places, especially in an animated realm. So I'm guessing that could have something to do with the fact that if it's stop motion,
Right.
Netflix is like, I want this.
Yeah. I wish Leica was doing it.
Yeah.
But does Disney still own the rights to Pinocchio? I would imagine, right?
well, this is a
No, because
yeah,
it's like
Pinocchio's-
public domain stuff, right?
So
Yeah,
it's a
anybody can
story.
do the story. Yeah.
And I don't know if this will get you excited, Dorina, but the film's puppets will be built by McKinnon and Saunders, who did Corpse Bride.
Ooh.
So they're going to build the
Yes.
puppets to be animated stop motion. And it's a story that Del Toro has been wanting to do.
This is perfect for
Riley's
Del
like,
Toro.
I don't know if this will get you excited, Dorina, since you're super goth.
Since you're goth,
You like the corpse
since
bride
you
or not.
are the Corpse Bride.
Right. Did you?
Have you ever done that for Halloween?
No, I
You
should.
should definitely do
I
that.
should. I don't like weddings.
That's
so,
easy.
So I don't want to.
Do you say no to weddings when you get invited?
No, it
Oh.
depends.
Depends on
Like
who
if it's my friends and we're gonna get drunk and have fun,
Right.
then that's different.
But you still don't like them.
I mean, I don't like the ceremonies.
Yeah.
They're too long
Yeah.
and
The reception is what you like.
Not a
What?
ceremony
The
run
reception.
by
yeah,
myself
the
or
party
Ken
is the
Knapsack.
best part. What?
Not a reception run by myself or Ken Knapsack. We're a tight 20, 25, a lot of laughs, a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
they've married a bunch of people. These two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want my ceremony to be like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
exactly.
Get in,
how
get
many?
out.
How many more? How many has Ken done?
Ken, I think, has done like 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
I've done 9.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that close
Damn.
of a race. I would have thought you had him beat by like 10.
No, yeah. He's done a few, yeah.
Wow.
Can you do your next one as the corpse bride?
I can do it as Jack O'Lantern.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
But
Jacko.
well, let's go
Is
back.
that his
Or
name?
can you do it as Yoko
Jack
Bono?
Skellington.
Oh, Yoko Bono.
Yoko
And
Bono.
I didn't, not Chaz Bono, Sonny Bono. Well, that was 9.
I was gonna
Chaz Bono.
say, yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's
No,
man.
no.
You're such a millennial.
Right. What was I going to say? Okay, so Del Toro doing this one. This is perfect for him.
Yes.
He loves this type of stuff. He's another guy too, by the way. He's been in Collider many times. I'd love to sit down and talk to him for like an hour.
Oh, me too.
Screw a half an hour. We're gonna do like an hour when he comes in.
So I went to see a Troll Hunters panel before the release of season 2. Even though when they shot Troll Hunters, because Anton Yelchin's the voice of the main character, they shot 46 episodes. No, that's wrong. 52 episodes. So 4 seasons of 13 episodes. They shot them all back to back to back to back to back to back. They were all written as a 52 episode thing, right? So Anton Yelchin did all 52 of those episodes.
Oh, wow.
But then they greenlit a 5th season, so they had to bring a new voice actor in there. So
Who was it? Anybody?
I forget who it is. I'd have to look at.
Yeah,
But
that's tough.
It's a really cool show. Troll Hunter's really good. It's very Del Toro. I mean, it's
been
very,
5 seasons already.
It's coming.
Stop it, you idiot.
That's here to stay.
Yoko Bono, everybody.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, it's Emil Hirsch.
Oh, see that? Yeah.
Emile Hirsch. That's a bit. I mean, that's a
cool.
Big, yeah.
So, but Guillermo del Toro and Mark Hamill, who is a voice of one of the evil trolls in Troll Hunters, did this awesome Q&A for. It was supposed to go 20 minutes. I went like 45 minutes. It was amazing.
Well, he's one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell when you talk to the guy when he was. We for the Critics' Choice Awards last year because Perry, he's like a fan of Perry. Followed Perry to talk to, and she got him in here last year, and we saw him at the Critics' Choice Awards, and he's just he remembers you. He talks to you. He shoots the shit. He's just such like a jovial dude. He's just a happy dude, passionate geek.
And I love, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that every time he gets asked something, it's like, oh, like, you know, why are you so dark or blah, blah. He's like, because I'm Mexican. I'm like, yes. He is correct.
Yeah, well, we get him in here. You got to come in here. Have you ever met him before?
No.
Oh, yeah, we got to
I've
get you
seen
in
him
here
at like concerts and stuff.
Okay.
No,
we'll
I'm
see.
too shy to.
We'll see.
He had this awesome line because this was right after a lot of that Weinstein stuff broke, and he said, "They're like, do you have a?" And it was Shape of Water time too. It was right around the Oscars, and they asked him, have you ever had a really bad experience working on a movie as far as like getting things done? And he goes, yes. The only time that I've ever hated doing a movie is with Harvey Weinstein, and he said that to the crowd.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
good for him.
He's never going to pull punches.
No.
Okay, so that's a lot of the news. Is the champ here?
I haven't gotten any word yet, so I would like to go check.
Let's go double check if he's here. Because if he's here, let's bring him in because we're not even going to break. We're going to go straight into it. Let's just shift over anyway right now. Let's get Macuga, if you can go back over there. We'll get Dorina side over here. Just in case he's here, we can bring him in because Wladimir Klitschko is supposed to come in. Hopefully we get him in today. We can talk to him about his book Challenge Management, and we are going to... yeah, it's going to be interesting because have you ever seen you're a UFC gal, right? And
I watch
boxing.
UFC, and I mean, I stereotype like Mexicans love boxing.
Yeah, so you knew boxing pretty
when
pretty
I was
well.
a kid. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean he was around him. He listen to this. The guy he ended his career only in 2017. So not yet.
Not here yet.
Okay. All right, Reilly, why don't you sit over there until we get him. If we get him, we get him.
Collider Live musical chairs brought to you by Guillermo del Toro.
If we get him, we get him.
If we get him, we get him.
But it'd be interesting to talk. Let's just keep talking about the news until we
you had to open Rocky IV right there. If it does.
If he dies, he dies. So if we get him, we get him. If not, we have John Noble on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. What's next?
Other news that broke yesterday, they did finally cast the young Bruce Wayne and Alfred for the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
How young are we talking here?
We're talking like 6, 8 years old.
Death of the parents young?
Death of the parents
not
young.
again.
Exactly, which a lot of everybody kind of went on and started speculating, going, oh, the Joker's going to kill the parents.
Jack Napier style?
Jack Napier style, which pump the brakes, hold on.
So I pose a question to you guys then. I know the answer you're going to give me, but we'll save you for last, and you can explain why. So... as we see in it, we'll piece this part out because I'm curious and I think it can be a conversation.
Great conversation.
Should the Joker be the one that kills Batman's parents in the Joaquin Phoenix movie? Macuga, go.
Dance with the Devil in a Pale Moonlight. Yeah, hell yeah.
So you think you should?
You want to get nuts?
So do you think that it's been, no pun intended, done to death, but it's okay if we kind of set up exactly who Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is?
Sure. Love it.
Thanks for the answer.
Yep.
Reilly.
He's here. So I'm going to go.
Okay, good. Great conversation, guys.
I'm very sorry.
It's a great conversation. Why don't you want to see it again?
I'm so sick of recycling any type of origin story. Like, everyone knows what happens. If it's there for a second, it's fine, but we don't need it.
Okay.
I'd rather this movie focus on the Joker, and I'm actually really excited about this movie for once because most superhero movies I haven't been excited about.
But this one, this reminds me because even I don't think Scorsese is still like attached somewhat as a producer. He may or may not be, but it's just like there's something new about it, different about it. He's here. All right, so we're about to get in.
The champ is here.
And as we are now waiting, Marc Fernandez, the owner of Collider, is joining us.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm here.
Yeah. I'm planning on it. Planning on not doing it. So we are just waiting, and as soon as, and here he comes, the former heavyweight champion of the world has just joined us now. Wladimir Klitschko is here. Wladimir, nice to meet you. Please come have a seat.
Right here.
So Wladimir Klitschko is joining us now too, guys. Listen, I mean, this is one of the greatest heavyweights to ever fight, and we have the pleasure of him joining the show Collider Live here. His new book, Challenge Management, is coming out. And Wladimir, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. A big fan for a very long time. And when I heard you were coming in, had to take the opportunity, man. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
You're a great promoter.
Thank you.
If I knew you before, I would have hired you. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on the show.
It's cool to have you, man. So tell me a little bit about the book. So Challenge Management, how long have you been working on it?
Well, this book came out in German language last year.
Okay.
And so far, it has been translated in 5 languages: Ukrainian, Russian, Ukrainian, German, Bulgarian, English, and Japanese. So it's a study book.
Yeah.
And in the foreword, Bill McDermott, the global CEO of SAP, afterwards the best man on the planet regarding challenges, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to have those two in this book, as well as my life story and my practical theory, which by 2 PhD students now has been researched, and they're making out of my practical theory scientific law. Challenge management is the philosophy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have problems in life, so shouldn't you have. But I have challenges in life.
Sure.
So should you, and you too. And you too. And when you have challenges, so just the attitude, problems will freeze you, challenges kind of fun to solve.
Sure.
And I need to say that face your challenge is the principle of and method of the challenge management philosophy. And it has face, so face your challenge. Basically, don't show back to your challenge, show face to your challenge.
Right.
Stare down came from boxing.
Right.
Basically, you look at each other's face and you facing your challenger, who you're gonna face later on in the ring. And you never turn back to your challenge, and face his 4 principles: focus, agility, coordination, and endurance. These 4 principles unite all the people that have made something of their lives, trying to do something in their lives, being creative. And I definitely share those principles with you guys and with others. As a professional athlete, or an athlete for 27 years that I've been until I retired last year. So I was really getting into details and understanding how you can be successful for a long time. And it's really complicated, especially the very challenging sport, the sport of boxing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that too, because again, from where your career began, because you had the hype on you when you started, and it was, you had all these expectations, and everyone was deeming you the next champion, especially during the reign when Lennox Lewis was around, and then they were saying, look out for this kid because here he comes, and then there were some ups, there were some downs, and then once you got up, you didn't come down again. So it was during that time. Is that a lot of this is where basically everything that you're just describing here in challenge management, you're essentially writing this book that once you retire, this is in your young age, it's kind of like your life's work. This is what it seems like.
You're right. Thankfully, there were failures. Failure is not an option. As Jeff Kennedy said when the rocket shot and people got on the moon. So failure is not a challenge. Failure is not an option. But you know what? It was slogan on my team, and after facing so far my last opponent in my professional career, Anthony Joshua, I actually changed this line. Failure with obsession.
Right.
Is some of the options. It is an option,
right?
Because when you're really obsessed with the target and your goal, and I have faced it at Wembley Stadium when I didn't win the titles that I was obsessed about so much, I didn't feel like I lost. For some reason, my stocks went up.
Right.
And even if fans were looking for a rematch, and when I said I'm retiring, my stock went up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And because this retirement was under my terms, not terms of other people, destiny, God forbid, health. So under my terms, I retired, and I've learned after having all the success in the sport, I just learned something. When you're really obsessed about something and you fail, it is an option, and it's okay. Look at Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
He was on the way to India. Failure.
Right.
Now, we're in North America.
Yeah. Mark, sorry, you had something?
Discovering, and thanks to him.
So when Kristian told me you were coming in, I was very excited because I'm a huge boxing fan, and I, like a nerd, I literally watched a bunch of your bouts, and the Anthony Joshua fight in particular, I think it's very interesting, and it really typifies what you're trying to talk about, because in the 5th and 6th round of that fight, and I highly recommend everybody to go out there and try to watch this fight, because I learned a lot about life from this fight. Joshua hits you and you go down, and then you hit him and he goes down. And it's one of the most epic Rocky style fights you will ever see in your life. But the way that you were able to bounce back from this young, I believe he was 28, 27-year-old kid at the time, and you're my age, which is crazy to think about. But the way that you were able to bounce back, and the way that even Joshua talks about it, he was like, he didn't think that he could see stars, and you composed yourself after the toughest part of that fight and completely flipped it around on him. It's like, what kind of mental discipline does that take? And like, what's the simple way for us to learn a little bit from that? Because to me, that's so incredible.
I defined it and named it the code. So you have to kind of decoding success in a certain way. And I realized that everything starts in life with the belief. You break the ground with a belief. Sometimes you don't see things, but you believe in them. Like people believe in God. Did they see it? In a certain way, they describe it, yeah, probably, but not really. But belief is so strong that it can do a lot. So you start with the belief, then you get into willpower, because that's the next step and move you have to do. Willpower gets you closer to your target and your goal. From willpower, you get to motivation. But motivation is great to have, and we know that it's coming and going. Right. We wake up in the morning, we have a cup of tea and cold shower, whatever. We're motivated for the day, and
you get up way different than I do.
To reach our goal in life or of the day, goal of the day. And then after lunch, it goes down,
right.
And then it comes up a little bit maybe later, and before we go to bed, it comes down again. So motivation comes and going. What is really great is discipline. It doesn't matter what. Discipline is like train on the railway. It gets from A to B and no other way. But discipline is kind of tough. You have to be disciplined, but it's just a really tough thing. And eventually, in the final step of this code, habit. So when you get from belief, get to willpower, get to motivation, get disciplined, and then eventually things just gonna fall so easy because it's a habit. Watch out though for other habits. It works the same way.
Right.
Not the good ones.
Yeah.
But that's actually what I can share with you guys. That's how I act in my professional life as a professional pugilist, and I had great success and also failures, thank God. And I wouldn't really take them out. And I lost my last fight. Even though I lost one, as I explained, I didn't feel that I was
fights
like
I've ever seen in my life.
That I was like standing there in the ring as a loser. So I didn't feel that, and it's something that I learned through failures more than through success.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was reading a little bit about you, I know that you're a really, really good chess player, and yeah. No, I mean, but he's like a legit chess player. Lasted 32 moves against world champions. So like very, very good chess player. I play chess as well, and my dad used to always beat the crap out of me in chess when I was young, and I'd be frustrated because he would always beat me. And he was like, I'm never going to let you beat me until you actually beat me. So that every time you lose, you learn something. So I totally get what you're saying. The one thing is like, when you're in that moment and you have to run through this sort of mental discipline, is that something that you have to train before you get into those moments? Or when you're in the moment?
And is it experience as well, too?
Right. Or when you're in the moment, do you also have an exercise to sort of remember this process?
I just named 5 steps of the code, and you heard them, you know what success is. It's just the repetition and the drills of the trainings, of workouts, in sports or certain habits. So you just repeat it all the time, over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why you're getting better than the others. You cannot be really great at something when you just tried it first time. I mean, maybe it's just going to be like spark and that's it. But to be continuously and sustainably successful, you need to just have those drills. And when you do have them, you realize there is some fine-tuning, there is some like micromanagement you get in, and you're really trying to do it better. Can you imagine how many times I tried combinations of 1-2, left hook, right straight, and whatever? It like seems the same. Or how many tries a golfer? How many tries? How many times a golfer is just trying this perfect swing, and he swings and swings a billion times, and it's just almost never perfect, you know, because there's like little things that make the ball fly either good or bad. But it's all combination of the drills that you have. Basically, whatever you do, you have to just keep on going, just repeat things, and all over and over and over again. Even if you think you got it, you know how it works. Try to do the same thing, because
is the book out already?
The book is out on Amazon. You can order it, and so it's out there. So this book has a lot of insights, and I think then after reading this book, you're probably gonna get, first of all, you will make out of your problems challenges, and you're gonna learn how to solve them.
Here's the thing: when I hear you talking about how motivational of a speaker in general you are, just from this conversation alone, from knowing you, knowing the background of the intelligence both you and your brother have, and knowing your passion for the sport of boxing. I listened to Teddy Atlas on Joe Rogan's podcast not too long ago, and I happen to agree with his thoughts on boxing in general. I'd like to get your thoughts on it, to where what I always thought of is, like, I've been a boxing fan for a long time, but MMA, the structure of what UFC has done in regards to, there's the champion, the rankings are, that's who's going to fight. Now, with all the organizations in boxing, with the WBC, WBO, IBF, and so on, does boxing need one organization to have, you know, because there's still rumors of corruption and things that are happening the way the particular with judges. If you look at the last fight with Triple G, people were saying that things were happening with the judges. Does boxing need one organization with one figurehead that can essentially help get it, you know, back to prominence, to where when you were fighting, and to where, you know, some of the back in the day with Hearns and Hagler, and can it get back there, do you think?
You're so right about it, and your question is actually has an answer in it. Boxing needs to be structured and centralized, not decentralized like some country or countries in this case. So sport of boxing needs to be centralized as, for example, NBA or NFL or any other sports where you have one structure, FIFA, UFA, like for football,
NFL,
soccer, NFL. So we can go on and on and on. And when you have central structure, it all works as one unit. And when you have all these different sanctioning bodies, and then you have promoters and you have managers, and there are obviously conflict of interest. And what is really, and I've been learning it through boxing, being in boxing for 27 years, I just realized that there are two parts that really is the core of the sport: athletes and fans, and they're getting really disrespected.
Yeah.
So actually the core is not getting what it should and supposed to get.
Yeah.
I think that digitalization is one of the keys to fight corruption you mentioned, and bureaucracy. It happens automatically. You digitalize everything, transparency right there. And I believe that every fan should have a chance to vote as well as a judge. Just will it have some effect on the result or not? It's secondary, but at least like every person needs to see it through a mobile device or whatever gadget.
It's almost like they do with certain
so
shows.
You could not just read some articles, you know, and people and writers, they have their preferences and their favorites. So you have just this fan base. And when you can see the numbers, who fans voted for, and I think it's going to, in a certain way of digitalization, set an app, and it's going to be in a pretty clear understanding how the sport works, how the rules work, and especially for the preparation for athletes, their health. We talk about athletes while they're active. Great, everybody's excited, there's a lot of money in it and all of this. You have managers, promoters, as I said, the sanctioning bodies. But then as soon as the athletes stepping out of the sport, they're gone.
Right.
And they're facing challenges big time. Then suddenly they don't have managers and promoters and sanctioning bodies. Nobody's interested in them at all.
There's no use for
so
them,
there are
for
a lot
them.
of broken souls and stories. And I believe that such organizations should take care also of fans and athletes afterwards.
Is there a way to unionize?
With education, healthcare, and so on. It should be done.
Yeah. Well, do you think that? Let me ask you two questions here. The first is, do you think that boxers, if you get that organized, again, like the UFC or NFL, like we went into it, there's one particular organization, could we then could we be able to unionize it? And is being involved in anything like that, one body, is that something that you would like to do? We know what you, as far as being able to motivate people, but because of your history, because of the things that you accomplished in the sport, and because you are this respected figure, is running an organization, is being part of an organization, is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
I'm definitely supportive of the sport. I'm a fan sport of boxing. I'm a former boxer. I've been with the amateur organization as AIBA and professional for 21 years. I know the sport and I know the topic, what I'm talking about. So I definitely very supportive. How that's going to look like, everyone can criticize and say things, but if you want to do it better, do it yourself.
Right.
And I'm definitely standing for it, and I'm supportive of it, and I'm going to support the sport as long as I can, as long as I'm here in this world, because this sport is a sweet science.
Yeah.
That's why, I have academical background because of boxing. So I wrote my PhD about boxing. Oh. And this is method. It's not just a book. It's a study book, and it's a method. And such great companies as SAP and Deutsche Telekom and others using this method in their companies. And it works. Whatever I've learned in the boxing ring and outside of the ring, I methodically, sustainably, systematically put it in this method, and it works. It works for people that has been for the past 3 years at the university in St. Gallen, Switzerland, where I teach. It's in German language, and afterwards getting to Harvard. I just was last week in Harvard and was lecturing and introducing the method for the students in Harvard, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So there is something definitely, especially this method is going to help also boxing, sport of boxing, and I would love to share it with organizations.
Right.
How to function, how to face challenges.
But do you think because of the corruption, do you think that there are enough people that will listen? Are there good people? Who are the good people in boxing? Like who are the good promoters that you could have these conversations with? Because you always hear again these horror stories of the ones who could take advantage of the fighters and that are really looking forward to it because they haven't helped the sport of boxing because there's not a division. It's a matter of whose fighter. And for perfect example is a Canelo and Triple G fight. It's apparently, and again, I heard with Rogan and Teddy Atlas talking about the judges that they have judging these fights are people who are not even that experienced watching boxing, and that puts potentially, the fighter's purse at stake here, their next fight at stake here. So who can you talk to? Who are the good people out there that you can have those conversations with? Like, let's start this. Because I think what you're saying is where we got to go. But the question is, how do you get them to listen after these hundreds of years of the way these things have been done back in the day with the Arams and the Don Kings? Like, how do you get it done and make that switch by doing what you were talking about in this book?
I believe, first of all, I'm not going to name bad people or good people because people that are in boxing, and I'm not going to say managers are bad or promoters are bad or sanctioning bodies are bad. They've just been there for decades, for a very long time. And more than half a century. So basically what they do, they're reflecting the situation, the rules that been kind of very far banned and still banning in different ways. Forget about Forget about broadcasters and and sanctioning bodies and all this. You need to get into amateurs. That's all goes. That's the ground. That's where you break the ground. You start from the amateurs, and amateur sport is crucially important. Professional boxing would not exist without amateur sport. Sure. Period. So you need to change, and you need to make this change in amateur organization.
Yeah.
Like, it's very painful to hear that AIBA has been excluded. AIBA is the sanctioning body for the amateurs. Okay. Has been excluded to participate at the next Olympic Games in Tokyo by the IOC. How is that can happen?
What's the record? Why
How
did
is
they
that,
say that?
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Olympic boxing has become.
I'm whatever the reasons are. I mean, there's plenty of articles written and done, and why IOC is not accepting the AIBA as sanctioning body for the amateurs and be invited to the Olympic movement next Olympic Games in Tokyo. So there are plenty of reasons for it, and that must be changed because, once again, fans and athletes are suffering. I just putting myself in the skin of these kids that are dreaming of going to Olympics in Tokyo, and they train, they do anything in their life for the sport.
That's all they do.
And for the medals, and just the idea of about competing at the Olympic Games and it
gets ripped away
and win or just participate, and this dream is being taken away for right now. I hope things gonna change.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you want to do it, better do it yourself. So I'm just really thinking a lot how I can help to change it.
So what I have a question, because we're talking about challenges, and so I agree that I am a fan who is suffering because it made me very pissed off, and I'm Mexican, and when I saw the Canelo and Triple G fights, and I saw what happened.
You are not looking like a pissed off fan.
Yeah, well,
I just wanted
no, it's very early. Yeah. So, but seeing those two fights back to back, and seeing the judge's decision, and then seeing what you're talking about with this, Olympic athletes, how do you take those types of challenges and failures for somebody that is losing, and how do they overcome that when it's kind of out of their control?
Like losing who? Like losing.
Well, whether you're losing because a judge made a wrong call, or because you don't get to go to the Olympics.
Well, we also think in a certain way in stereotypes. If you're a journalist, I might buy you. If you're a politician, you must be a liar. If we can go on and on, if you're a boxer, you're dumb. It's just like certain boxes that we think, stereotypes that we think of, and I believe that it's a combination and it's a chain of evidences and education. So judges need to be educated. Fans need to be educated, and as I said, digitalization is the only way to fight corruption and bureaucracy, and also get better education. Let's take care of them who takes care of the fans, and especially boxers, athletes. They're trainers. They need to be educated as well, because my PhD work is actually about preparation, how you can prepare tremendously and better young kids, or teenagers in this case, between in the age of 14, 19. So if you're not well educated, you're gonna break this female or male boxer just in a period of time where they're just getting from a boy to a girl, and from a boy to a man, and from a girl, to a woman. And like age of 14, if you break them through hard workouts, bad training, and with certain bad behavior, they're not gonna succeed in their lives. So you really need to take care of someone who's taking care of the athletes and these trainers, for example. So it's just a chain. It goes on and on and on with managers and sanction bodies and promoters. So they all need to be educated. And that's why centralization of the sport is crucially important, so that everyone can reflect their action according to the method. That's why this method, challenge management, face your challenge, is so important for organizations. So every person has responsibility and understand what is intrapreneurship in entrepreneurship. So the little piece in the big one, in big organization. And so understanding that and asking actually themselves, what can I do for this big organization and now this organization can do for me? As JF Kennedy said, this famous line, ask yourself what you can do for the country and not the other way around. And it all starts from that. So you need to break ground with that and everything else just gonna add into it as a chain.
Is there a point in your career? Is there a punch that you threw or a punch that you took that you remember? That was the one.
Well, punches that you take, you don't remember.
Joshua Jones uppercut.
Yeah. And by the way, you're laughing right now. Don't ask a boxer question that he cannot answer with the words. You're really hand reach out of me right now. So
I would listen.
I can literally reach you with my jab.
I would love to see that. Trust me. Speaking, now we go a little lighthearted. I do want to ask you a question too, because I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you were growing up. You and your brother were big fans of the Rocky franchise. Is that accurate? So with Creed, that had just come out. Now Creed 2 coming out. The trailers have kind of hit. Were you a fan of the first Creed, and are you looking forward to seeing the second movie? And it's such a different take on the Rocky franchise, but still kind of brings new energy, in my opinion.
But did you see Rocky 4 when you were living? Yes, right?
Yeah.
So like the perception of watching Rocky 4 from the other side, that's what we want to know.
That's true too. That's true too, yeah.
I mean, were you rooting for Drago or were you rooting for Rocky?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know the story well, and I'm a fan of Rocky franchise. I'm a fan of Rocky as a character in the movie. I'm a fan of Rocky that is actually a Rocky, a true Rocky. Is Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
We had this amazing chance to collaborate, and I've been co-producer of Rocky musical.
Really? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Sylvester Stallone,
I really want to see that.
Believe it or not, it started actually back in Hamburg. That's where we broke the ground with the musical, and Broadway came over, looked at it, and said, "We want to have it." But awesome. As we know, Broadway is very challenging. So Rocky was running in Broadway over half a year, and then it closed. But anyway, Rocky musical made to Broadway. So I'm a fan of Rocky and Sylvester Stallone because he's Rocky.
Yeah.
It's amazing that Sylvester, considering even his age, he's so creative. I think he's stuck at 27.
Yeah.
The way he acts and does things and communicate, and he's a fantastic guy. And I think that a lot of people that been highly influenced by the Rocky story and motivated as well with just the music. Yeah. And the images that everyone holds in the mind. And sometimes it's so important for this, just one important first step to something. And when you're really getting this type of influence and motivation with the story, you definitely make it.
Yeah.
You make this first step, and it's so important to move ahead instead of just stay still. When you're staying still, you're falling back automatically. And Rocky's story is teaching it.
I have one question that I have to ask, or else because I've been thinking about this for ever since you told me you were coming on the show. There's this beautiful interview that I saw you give where you promised your mom that you and your brother would never fight in the ring. I'm sure you guys fought off the ring, but in the ring you would never fight professionally. Did you guys have to turn down tons and tons and tons of offers to get in the ring?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Don King mentioning something about it. There's a lot of financial asset in this fight, and obviously, he had no clue that we promised our mom not to get involved in it, and we never fought each other, by the way. Outside of the ring. Wow. We did spar with each other, and
that's what I mean, like sparring. Yeah.
We love each other to death, but when two brothers spar with each other, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
Because there is certain competition where you really knock him out. But you know what? Even though we both would have ended up fighting each other, there wouldn't be a winner. Even the winner wouldn't be a loser.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah, you always take that with you.
It's the sport. It's not like Williams' sisters can't play with each other tennis, It's not the same thing. So boxing is about just to eliminate someone who is across of the ring.
one follow up to that. When you lost to Corey Brewster, I believe, and then your brother
Corey Sanders.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, or Lemon Brewster. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then your brother goes in there and kicks his ass.
Corey Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that like what must that be like to have that kind of relationship?
Well, you
with
saw
your
the
brother?
emotion in his face when he won. It was amazing. It was incredible to watch because, like, again, from having brothers myself, it's like when I remember that. And I remember watching it. You were on the side of that where you were ecstatic, but I started to take away the answer.
No,
but
exactly.
I remember it, so I
yeah.
wanted to bring it up. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just like
actually, this fight was happening here in Los Angeles at Staples Center, and Vitaly was fighting Corey Sanders, and he became champion after he was fighting against Lennox Lewis and didn't get the title, which was also happening here in Los Angeles.
I was at that fight.
Yeah,
I saw that fight.
So it was very emotionally. I was emotionally attached to this fight, obviously. Not just I wanted to fight Corey Sanders. In those days, I couldn't get the fight due to contracts and no rematch clause in the contract and so on. So my brother ended up fighting for the title, world title, and of course I was happy. I mean, wouldn't you?
Of course, 100%.
It's something that was amazing, and to see him as a champion again, and he done a good job. It was a really tough fight, by the way. Really tough fight.
Is your brother involved in your ventures with the books and the lectures as well?
No. My brother is a politician, so he's
awesome.
he's 100%. I don't want to say he's a politician because politics. It's like we're putting Vitaly now into the stereotypes, with politicians. He's the mayor of city of Kyiv, and does that have really to do anything with the politics? Yes, but in his daily routine, he takes care of people, and there are over 4 million people living in the city of Kyiv. Wow. It's a beautiful city with a history over 1,500 years, and over 4 million people with nada, unemployment.
Wow.
So even considering the geopolitical crisis with an annexation of Crimea and the war with Russia in the east of the country, so considering these challenges, city of Kyiv is doing pretty well, and Vitaly is doing a great job. It's challenging.
Yeah.
It's not like in boxing ring you see your opponent and it's all honest and straight and there are rules. In politics it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Even though he's a mayor, and I wouldn't consider him as a politician because he's not like in parliament and making the laws, voting for left or right. He takes care, his daily routine is basically lots of work and take care of the people, of their daily routines, that they're more comfortable, transportation, digitalization. I mean, people in Kyiv are motivated to pay taxes now. Can you believe this? Who is motivated to pay taxes? But they are, because SAP gave this amazing system, open budgets. So every person that pays taxes in the city, in the blink of an eye, through digitalization, sees that these $100, for instance, that he paid to the budget are landing on the budget. And then the person sees where it flows to build kindergartens and schools and streets and lights and elevators and water and so and. So it motivates people to pay taxes, which was not the case before. But digitalization made it. Smart city made the city safer. So in May we had like Super Bowl for American football. We had Champions League finals. It's about soccer. I mean, this event is like it's a gigantic event, and we had it in the city of Kyiv in May. And the president of the UEFA, Alexander Safrin, said this event went without mistakes, without a single mistake. It was perfect. Thank you so much to the city of Kyiv, and it was the best compliment the mayor could have had. So I'm proud of my brother, of his job. He's amazing. There are challenges, but
you guys didn't fight. But who's better at chess?
Well, I would say my brother is better in fighting and in playing chess because he actually taught me how to play chess.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, he taught me. And same as boxing. I was the first sparring partner of my brother. He put the gloves on and he was practicing on me. So I didn't like it much. But, it helped him to get better in the ring. So I did my job and my part. And I always get into the same thing. And he's the most challenging guy that I've ever had in my life. He never gets tired of challenging me.
Well, look at that. Once again, Wladimir Klitschko, the book is Challenge Management. You can get that on Amazon, like you said. It was an absolute pleasure to have you in studio, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, and guys, get the book. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be reading this book because this was a motivating... Yeah, absolutely, because it's a motivating thing what you were talking about, your ideas for the sport of boxing, and I can't wait to follow your career much more of what you're going to do now that you've retired from the ring. Thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Wladimir Klitschko, ladies and gentlemen, and that's Collider Live today. What an amazing show we had. The former heavyweight champion, Wladimir Klitschko, John Noble. We will see you guys on Monday. Collider Live.